I got my little drink, and I gotta actually pull this damn thing up. But today was a special Q&A session from the developers of Dead by Daylight. I'm assuming the big boys aren't actually going. Well, of course they're not. I don't usually watch these damn things, but since the game is like particularly unbalanced right now, I thought it'd be fun to pop in and actually read some comments and just actually address the fact that the devs don't actually know what they're doing. I felt like that'd be good. So, will gameplay happen on the stream? I mean, maybe. I don't know if I'm actually gonna play right now. I'm definitely gonna be reacting to this Q&A to talk about how out of touch these developers are on stupid shit that they say. I haven't watched it yet, so I'm expecting them to say some really dumb shit about what they just did to their game and how they just killed it, but it doesn't matter. I'm sure every developer there is not a red rank on any killer or survivor, so they don't really know what the red ranks look like. It doesn't matter, dude. It doesn't matter. I certainly know what the red ranks like, dude. I'm a purple rank, and it's because of the matchmaking. I definitely know what the red ranks look like. I play red ranks every fucking game. I'm basically in red rank. Purple rank is red rank on PlayStation, if you didn't know. Alright, this is a cute screen. We'll just leave it here. I haven't played. I've only played the Switch version since the update, and I'm a rank 3 on Switch for killer, because I'm a killer player, bro, so we'll probably just leave it at this screen. Okay, I'm sorry the YouTube, my computer's taking so long. This is an old computer. Oh, and I'm not connected to the internet. That helps. Being connected to the internet helps on your searches, ladies and gentlemen. Alright, so, before we sit down with Dead by Daylight developers for, what is it, an hour and 14 minutes? Red ranks are like that on Xbox. I bet they are, dude. I bet they are. The matchmaking is so broken right now. If you're a purple main on the console, you basically are red rank, because that's all you play. Because I already know why too. It's because there's not enough red rank killers. So red ranks that are sitting in queue, they just get matched up with you because there's a surplus of red rank survivors and there's not enough red rank killers to accommodate all of them. So they just send you to the next level down. They send you to purple. That's what they do. And this is why I'll talk about this later. Probably I think it was mentioned in the stream. I'm not against red rank survivors sitting in 40-minute queues. I think it's something that if it's going to get the balance of the game addressed faster, I think red rank survivors should sit in 40-minute queues, and then it'll have like they'll actually complain about how there's not enough killers at the red ranks for them to play against, and then you go, and that's when you say, well, what's the reason for that? Why is there not enough red rank killers? Oh, that's easy, isn't it? That's very easy. Why there's not enough red rank killers? Because the game is not balanced enough for enough killers to actually hit the red ranks. So why don't we fix the balance of the game? That's why I'm not against red rank survivors sitting in 40-minute queues. Okay, so let's actually watch this damn thing. I've only seen like brief excerpts of it, and the brief excerpts that I saw were really fucking stupid. So I saw the portion of them talking about if they should make it more clear what stage of madness you're in. Fucking bitch, do you play this game? Do you know how easy that is if you're actually good at this game? If you're not fucking stupid, you should be able to discern between those. It comes with playing the game. Is it not up yet? Is the thing not up yet? I just saw it. Home. Let's go to home. Is it not up yet? Oh my god. It's not up yet, is it? Live streams. Maybe it'll be under live streams. Q&A 1 month ago. Bruh. Is it literally not up yet? Streamed, okay, here it is. Streamed 87 minutes ago. Here it is.
Harder and
why did it say 1 month ago? YouTube is broken. Okay. So, I'm sorry if the audio gets bad here. I haven't seen this, so I actually have to play the audio. Okay, so before we actually skip, let's open the drink. Opened up. Let's open up the popcorn. Opened up. What's up, Doc? Not you on the tier list, that's for sure. Okay, so 5 minutes. Let's go ahead and skip to when they actually start talking. 3 seconds. Here we go. Live stream starts. Let's listen to what these people have to say. After, remember, they just killed their game, and the game is in a horrible state right now. That's why we're watching this one, because I don't usually watch this garbage, because it's just a bunch of casuals asking stupid questions. Hey, they open up with Hex Ruin has been ruined. That's cute.
My Hex, it's been ruined.
Because remember, they're proud of their work.
Hex Ruin is a teachable.
For the hag.
In December 2016, you are rad.
Okay, I've seen this already, so let's go ahead and skip it. I love Salmonation, but I'm not in the mood right now. Okay, let's drink up, boys. Hey, look, my stream's in the recommended videos. That's funny. Okay.
Hello.
Oh, hi there.
Okay, so as I predicted, it was a bunch of fucking people I've never seen before in my life. Okay, I've actually seen Not Queen before. Again, maybe that's how these things usually are, but since I don't usually watch them, I was expecting no Cotier and no Dave Richards. Because Dave Richards, as I stated before, is a fuckboy, and then Cotier's not going to show his face when people are mad at him. Like, no one, like, the game's in a bad state right now, so they send out these fuckwits because nobody knows who they are. No one knows who they are, so why would they fucking, like, seriously? Like, like, that, I don't even know what I'm trying to say. Let's see what they say.
Yes. So
I was kind of saying, like, what if we just ended the stream right there?
Well, that was the Q&A for today. Bye, guys. Okay. So,
that was such a funny joke, wasn't it?
Thank you to Sabination, one of our fog whisperers, to allow us to show this awesome piece.
Okay, and let's talk about Salmonation real fast. Salmonation also seems to be getting close to the development team. Like, the Salmonation is, like, sending his stuff to the, like, what does that say about his content? Is it gonna get worse? I don't know, it doesn't seem to be getting worse right now. Okay, there's no live comments on the side yet. I don't think YouTube's gotten that far. This is a super early reaction. But, like, down here, if you go into the comment section, like, it's a bunch of negative comments. All of it is. Killer AI when? Because I don't know for a fact there's going to be no more killer players if it keeps going down this road. Sell your game to some serious game designers, you clowns. We need Oni PTB back. Stop making the game for kids. Like, there's a ton of stuff in here, bruh. Newest killers aren't being used because they're trash. Like, there's so much stuff that's being said about, like, this is a chance for the devs to actually do some damage control, but you know they're not going to do it. Okay.
Check his YouTube
I want to get into the stream.
There's a lot of really fun stuff over there. All right, guys. Some people think there's someone in the locker. Don't touch it.
Oh, sorry.
It's gonna break.
No, there was almost someone in the locker, but he's actually beside the locker, off screen.
Like, stop making jokes. I'm not here for your jokes. I'm here for you to address the fucking game,
So
bro.
first off, hello.
Hi.
Thank you
I'm
for
mad at
joining
you.
us today. Thank you for the mods, the CMs, and the chat. I am Not Queen, lead community manager on Dead by Daylight, and with me today I have...
Hi, I'm Louis McLean.
So, hashtag Blame McLean, that's him.
I did it.
And
I'm Justin Banks, one of the product managers on DBD.
Yeah, just a bunch of random nobodies.
well, we will introduce him. Well, I'm pretty sure you guys know Ethan, but we will introduce him later when he comes in, because right now it's a bit awkward.
Yeah.
Ethan is the hand behind Justin, right there. So, Louis, what are you doing on the project?
So I'm a gameplay programmer.
I'm a gameplay programmer. Come on, guys.
Working on balance updates and killer reworks and all that kind
Killer reworks? Louis McLean, bruh. He's working on the balance changes. Let's applaud him. Good job, Louis. Good job for all your hard work and dedication.
That's great. So, the questions are coming from the forums, so we always have a post open a week or so before we do these Q&A to gather all your questions. There will be questions about Ruin, but we will not start with this yet.
Okay, so they're going to address Ruin in some way, shape, or form. It's just it's just not going to be to the satisfaction. It's going to be about survivors asking why they did. I bet Noed doesn't make it out of the year. That's my prediction. Noed and Iridescent Head Huntress do not survive 2020. They both are nerfed by the end of the year. If they're not, I will be shocked.
So,
Ghostface and the Wraith don't get out of 2020 either. The way that they're being played right now, that doesn't get out of 2020 either.
stick around because actually we're going to start with Justin and what you're working on. Well, first off, wait a minute. I'm going way too fast into Q&A. Because I'm a bit stressed out because, like, we have a lot of questions.
They're a bit stressed out. I'm sure you are. And, like, these guys are hecking champs for actually agreeing to do this because they know the community's angry.
But, first off, we have announcements, reminders. First, we're going to be at PAX East. There will be no booth. It's going to be a party.
There will be no booth because who'd give you fuckers a booth? You suck.
But more detail to come soon. PM. For the announcement for Justin.
Yeah, so for some other announcements, so we have an update that released this week. So with that, we have our Lunar New Year event, Scarlet Swarm. So that's currently live until February 4th.
I don't care about your lunar event, bro. I actually just don't care. The game is in such a bad state that, like, nothing besides balancing concerns me right now. Absolutely nothing.
So for the first week, if you log in, you get some really cool charms. Second week, if you log in, you get some reskinned items that are really nice. A hat for Dwight, shirt for Nia. And
is that all the events have come down to? Just logging in?
Rat hammer.
The rat. Is that the name?
I don't know.
Like that's your new event? Logging in?
You can
wow.
Do that. That's totally cool.
That's so creative.
And we also have, of course, Tome 2 for the archives that is actually live. So I can't believe it's already the second one, because this is blowing my mind.
Also, let's kind of address how they're doing this Q&A, okay? They're doing the Q&A. This isn't a live Q&A. They have a bunch of questions on a piece of paper that they're then going to read off of and answer those. You know all the questions that need to be addressed are going to be coming from the comments section, the in-chat comments. That's where they probably have that turned off, though. Let's not kid each other.
And you guys are definitely impressing us with how quickly you are running through all these challenges.
Alright.
That's because there's a bunch of no-lives that play this fucking game, dude.
We're going to talk a little bit more in detail with the questions for the first archive, actually, and where we're going with the second one.
Like, I don't care about the archives. I actually don't care.
Say this one. So, we have a hotfix.
Archives encourage you to play the game like an asshole. Like, seriously. And, like, seriously, at the ranks that, like, I play at, the high ranks, we don't fucking have room in our builds for Monstrous Shrine to do a basement sacrifice. Like, seriously. We don't have room for that.
We're not going to give detail on any fixes yet for today because we have to validate them. But there's a hotfix coming for this after dispatch, basically. Before we go to the Q&A, there's a lot of questions that we're probably not going to go in detail to.
Talking about the known issues.
Known
this
issues.
thing is broken.
Exactly. So we have a list of known issues.
Known issues, bro.
Go over them.
Real quick.
Obviously, those are known issues. There are other than that, but we can't cover everything.
Okay, let's talk about the known issues.
So, some commonly asked questions, things that have come up. Decisive strike. People have been talking about, there's an issue with decisive strike. So if you guys are curious, what's happening here is there's a problem with the insane skill checks that the doctor can give you. You know, they're all crazy, they're upset, they're shaking, and unfortunately they also make it so that you can't trigger decisive strike with them. That's sorry about that. The fix will
You can't trigger decisive strike with them? What does that mean?
be coming. We know the issue. There's an issue.
Does that mean the doctor can't affect decisive strike changes or skill checks, or like that they worded that rather poorly? Or does that mean that the doctor is causing them to be too hard and they're gonna nerf it? It's too hard to hit the skill check with the doctor having you with it counterclockwise.
The rank achievements unlocking randomly.
Yes. This one is.
You won't be banned.
No.
It's not your fault.
That's right. We'll ban you for unlocking an achievement.
Error. So some of you may be seeing that. We are on it. We know it. We're looking at it.
Oh God.
And, some issues were found with Badham Preschool. Some assets on Badham Preschool. The map has been temporarily disabled.
Thank God! Yes! They disabled Badham Preschool. Thank God. Thank God. Thank God. Even with its rework, those are some of the worst maps for a killer to play at. Thank God. Let's not put them back in either. Don't let the door hit you in the ass on the way out on that one.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, why don't you disable them? Why don't you give them another rework and take out some of the, and why don't you nerf the basement in the center?
Those are the non-issues from the previous update. We have ongoing issues and discussions that a lot of people are mentioning in like everywhere. So,
everywhere, bruh.
Optimization, dedicated server, sound issue, and matchmaking. So I'm gonna go over them a little quickly because there's some news that are coming from.
Okay, we're gonna address matchmaking for like the 6th time. This is like, with matchmaking, it's kind of the boy who cried wolf at this point with these people. They keep saying they're gonna fix it, and every time it gets worse and worse and worse. The matchmaking right now is worse than it has ever been. Like, seriously, it's worse than it's ever been. And here's how you fix it. You wanna know how you fix it? There's an easy way to fix it. Just make sure it's only possible to play people in your color. That's the way to fix matchmaking. And then guess what? The problem with that is red rank survivors will sit in, unless you're an SWF, of course. But like, that also helps killers know if they just face an SWF. You should only be playing people within your color. And then the way that you fix, the way that helps is, it makes red rank survivors sit in queue for like 45 minutes. Yes. Because, again, the surplus of red rank survivors, not enough red rank killers. Here's why that helps. One, it helps the killers that are actually in purple rank and struggling because they keep playing against the red ranks to actually face purple ranks, organically rank up to be as good as the red ranks. It'll help the killers improve at that level. And then secondary, you make red rank survivors sit in queues for 45 minutes, they'll constantly be complaining about queue times. And then guess what do killers say after the red rank survivors go, we've been sitting in queue for an hour! Do you know why you've been sitting in queue for an hour? Because the game is unbalanced, and there's too many of you. Because it's too easy for you all to rank up and get to red rank. It's too hard for killer to rank up and get to red rank. There's too many of you, not enough of us. It has to do with the ranking system being horrible, and it has to do with the balancing being awful. I bet there is nothing wrong with the new Ruin. I'm not, well, I don't know if you're just here to tell me that. The fact is that the Ruin doesn't passively stall gen times in the early game anymore, which is why it's bad. Because the new Ruin is a totally optional cleanse for high-level survivors now. They don't have to cleanse it. You actually just straight up don't have to cleanse the Ruin Totem. It's optional now. It's not that you have to choose when to do it, like they said. It's the fact that it's straight up optional. You don't have to cleanse it. And for a Ruin for a Hex Totem to be an optional cleanse proves that it's just not good enough. Well, yeah. I mean, that perk should have been, the idea for Hex Ruin should have been a perk in the next chapter for the next killer that wasn't a Hex Totem at all. That's what I think. But anyway, I'm not. You guys can fight about Ruin. I'm trying to react to this Q&A. But like I'm saying, that's the reason. You have a bunch of red rank survivors because it's too easy for them to rank up. It's too hard for killer to rank up, and combining with the fact that killers that are in the purple ranks have to play against those red ranks. So killers at the purple rank have the hardest time ranking up because the people that they play are most likely better than them, and the matchmaking system is against them. So like the ways that they would have to win against those red rank survivors are ways that the game doesn't want you to be played. That's the problem with so like if red rank survivors would be forced to sit in queue for 40 minutes, it would draw attention to not only the matchmaking system and the game's core balancing. So that's why I think that it should be based off the color. Because if it's based on the color, the red ranks will go, wait, there's something wrong here. Maybe it's because, what's my rank? I have 2 ranks because I play on 2 different systems. I play on the Switch more. My Switch rank is 3, and then my fucking PlayStation rank is 8. The highest I've been on PlayStation is 6. But yeah, there's what that is. I forget what I was talking about. But like, if I queue up right now and I play a match, I'm gonna be playing against rank 4s and rank 3s. Like seriously, just go watch my last stream. You'll see that. Like, I play against red ranks literally every single game, except for, like, with the exception of, like, maybe 1. It's awful, dude. Like, I don't even want to queue up. And it's like, you know, it's not that I'm against playing against the red ranks, because I do. I want to be, but, like, I want to, like, be at a stage, at least on PlayStation, where I'm, like, I don't really feel bad for me, because, like, I essentially can handle it. Again, there's still more SWF commerce on PlayStation, so you will see more coordination on PlayStation than on Switch. But like, it's not that I don't want to be playing against that, because I do. I just wish that the game was balanced enough for me to handle it. And like, with the fact that added coordination combined with the fact that they're already red rank, it makes it harder to like like get there. You know, it sucks. All right. Anyway, let's move on. I forget what I was actually talking about.
Very, very shortly, we're preparing a change, and you're going to start seeing some change actually in the upcoming weeks. So stay tuned on that. We're preparing a more technical blog post about it. So a lot of changes for matchmaking coming. Then the sound issues. I actually had a talk with our sound guys just before. The
sound guys, when they got back from the Bahamas because they were on vacation for what felt like 6 weeks, 6 months. They were taking their 6-month vacation to the Bahamas, bruh. Because it feels like the sound issues have been in the game for like forever. You hit somebody, and if it's a client, you're just fucked. You're not gonna be able to find them half the time, depending on the map.
We ask, is there a reason why, like, every update we have some sound issues that are coming in, and once we fix them, and then some new ones are. So basically, sound is. So this is my explanation of what I got from the whole thing. Sounds are linked to a lot of things in the game. For example, animations. So when animations are changed, sometimes the sounds don't trigger at the right time, or they don't trigger at the right frame.
Okay,
that's why
they're talking about sound design right now. I don't know enough about it, so I can't really criticize or say that they're right. So, like, I don't know how that process works, so I'm just waiting for this section to end.
A little bit funky sometimes, so when we make changes to other things that are linked to sounds. So they are working really hard on trying to, you know, pinpoint where the issue come from, and your feedback actually matters a lot on that one.
Our feedback matters on the sound, everybody, not the gameplay, but the sound. We have a lot of stake when it comes to the sound of the game. Wow, I feel so special.
The more precise, the better.
For example, the TVs on the new map.
Oh.
On the
TVs.
Yeah.
Were pushing out a sound that was really, really high frequency that older people cannot hear.
That's right.
And we've had a lot of reports on that.
Okay, well here's the sound. Here's a question I want to ask the sound designer. How come when Plague gets corrupt perch, he goes boopa ba ba boopy da ba boopa da ba ba ba, and you can't hear fucking shit but that? How about we get rid of that, or at least make it quieter, so I can actually hear survivors? You know?
Don't make me feel old.
So they
don't do that to me.
Sound guys are boomers.
Yes. He said that. This is gonna be Fred at your desk when you come back.
Fred's not happy with me.
Alright, so matchmaking, we went over sound issues, optimization, and dedicated servers. So this one...
Notice how they completely skipped matchmaking? They didn't go over it. I'm sure they're gonna go over it later, but they didn't. They just said matchmaking, but they addressed it. They addressed the fact that they know it's bad. Well, Jesus Christ, I sure God hope they know it's bad, because it's awful. It's not just bad anymore. It's always been just bad. Now it's just straight up awful.
Major thing, a lot of people are asking about, like, what's happening with optimization, what's happening with dedicated servers. So basically, both of these things are really an ongoing process. There's a lot of work that is done in the background that you might not see.
That's right. They're working so hard, everybody. They're working so hard. There's a lot of work going on in the background that you don't see. So for you to criticize the developers, you can't do that because you're stupid. You don't know. Hey, I know shitty work when I see it. I don't have to fucking know everything that goes into it. When I see a shitty result, I know that it's a shitty result. I don't have to know the background. Piss off. When I see a quarterback lob a pass that goes 40 meters ahead of the other guy, I know it's a bad pass. I don't have to do anything. I don't have to be a quarterback to know that's a bad pass. Just like you don't have to be a 5-star chef to say that a meal is fucking awful. It's so fucking easy, dude. You just gotta think about this shit. That's one thing that I've seen that argument before from Survivor players.
Patch notes, because it's so technical that you might not see it.
It's so technical.
We're updating some things.
It's so technical, guys.
Dedicated
so technical.
And optimization. When there are more major changes, that's where you're going to see them in the patch notes. If we feel like you're going to see a big difference, that's where we're going to put it. So yeah.
I think you got it.
I think that was...
It's so technical, guys. We just don't see it.
Let's go to the Q&A because we have a ton of questions.
I bet you do.
Stuff, then we can get Ethan on screen and away from...
They only care about getting it done, dude.
How many ruined questions? I think we have 3 pages.
Good.
All right.
You get what you fucking deserve.
So let's go with the archive question. So starting with Violet Cherries. What were the takeaways from the first tome and Rift?
Well, okay, let's talk about this question already. Let's talk about what rank she probably is. Miss Violet Cherries, I'm assuming that's a female. Well, I mean, that might be that might be an unfair assumption because my name is fucking Rosie, but, you know, whatever. This is the question they choose to address, okay? The patch that has fundamentally killed the balance of their game and has made survivors insanely powerful, even more than they already were. Because let's be real, Ruin wasn't doing that much. Ruin was only helping killers hang on by a thread. Ruin is what kept the game's 6.5, 3.5. So, like, Ruin was the reason you could expect to win 35% of your matches. It wasn't that good. 35% is being generous. Like, it wasn't that good. But in the patch where they have fundamentally killed the balance of their game, the first question they choose to address is Miss Violet Cherries. What were the takeaways from the first tome and Rift? That's the first one they choose to go over. Like, do you see where their heads are at? They don't give two fucking shits that they just killed their game. They don't give two fucking shits. They never have. They never will. As long as it's seeing buys, and as long as it's seeing purchases from casual rank 15 noobs, they don't fucking care what the high ranks look like. Do you see this? They're talking about the tome and the Rift. That's the first thing they address. Again, I'm sure we're going to see Ruin addressed, but it's like, this shows you where their priorities are at. And if you follow their Facebook page, they never address Ruin beyond the fact that they nerfed it, even though they were getting 50 million questions about it. No posts about it, not one. Ridiculous.
And how this affected the second tome.
Oh yeah, so this I have basically.
Like, I don't care about this. I'm just gonna let this play out and keep bitching. I don't care about this.
So a lot of our takeaways that we had.
These people are casuals at heart, dude. These people are casuals at heart.
Harder and
They balance the game for casuals because they themselves are casuals. They don't have any eye for what's going on in the wannabe competitive scene of this game. No eye for it. No care.
Actually syncing. We had matchmaking that came.
If they cared about what was going on at the competitive scene, half these jungle gyms would have been nerfed a long time ago.
So that caused some issues where you would have to wait a bit, and you know that is obviously added into the amount of time that we are expecting you to take to finish the Rift. Then there was also the issue of challenge difficulty. So
pallet spawns would have been nerfed a long time ago. The fact that tiles spawn so close to each other, that would have been changed a long time ago if they care about what was going on at the higher levels of this game.
And as soon as this went live, we thought, oh my god, what did we do?
Do you know how much better Clown gets if they do that? If they just simply get rid of the amount of tiles on each, like, you know, Clown gets a little better. Not that he beat super top tier OP.
And then that was our
but Clown's biggest issue right now is the fact that the maps in the tiles spawn so close to each other, so his power just doesn't work.
We've taken this going even further into Tome 2, kind of just trying to actually balance everything out. So that
hey! They're gonna balance everything out in Tome 2, everybody. That's what they care about. Balancing in Tome 2. They said the word balance like they give a shit. If you cared about balance, my friend, you wouldn't be worried about the tomes, because that's not where the issues are right now.
For levels 3 and 4. In the original tome, we wanted it to feel like they were almost difficulty levels, but I found it was just really hard to get that across, and players didn't enjoy it. I think we didn't enjoy it either. We found it was a real grind once we got around to actually playing it. So
you've actually played your game? I don't believe it. I just don't believe it. You're not over rank 15 if you played your game.
On top of all this, we've actually done some changes for the layout of all of the challenges in the tome.
Dude, okay, here's what you do. If I am managing a game like this that needs to be constantly updated and constantly balanced in the way that this genre does, you have part-time workers called gameplay testers, okay? Their job is to come in and play the game. And not only play it, get good at it. That's their job. Their job is to get good at the game and then tell you what the problem is with it. That's what they should be doing. These aren't full-time workers, so they wouldn't be involved in the development process. They would be on the gameplay testing team. And I guarantee you, if they're supposed to just come in, play it, get good, look at it objectively, they look straight at the developer's face and say, what the fuck are you doing with these killers? They're all insanely weak. That's what they would say. I feel like if you have any objectivity in how you look at this game, killers need buffs so bad, it's not even funny.
Like master challenges or other ones that have just felt really unenjoyable. So in addition to making a lot more dynamic and
hurry up, bro.
A lot of the master challenges out of the way. So if you've already seen level 1 of Tome 2, you know this. You know it's a lot more of the normal challenges from the beginning to end that are the ones you do over the series of different trials.
Okay, so at least, I mean, that's gonna make it objectively better, I guess.
Those are off to the side, and you can do those as you want.
Well, that means it also doesn't block you from finishing it if you don't have the character.
It doesn't, and that was really important to us because we know we want to start using more different characters because a lot of them have very interesting stories, but we don't want to block anybody who does not have these characters.
Well, that actually is a good segue for the next question.
Oh yeah, Louis knows what's up.
From
this is all garbage, bro.
how were the character chosen for Tome 2? And by the way,
they keep talking about the tome. Like, seriously, do you see where their priorities are at? They could give two fucking shits about what they did to Ruin. They could give two fucking shits.
Okay, so
they keep talking about the tomes, bro, because that's what's important in this game right now.
Thank you. Someone recognized
that. The fact is, here, let's talk about the tomes. The fact is that the competitive players look at tomes and they say, okay, well, here's what you do.
That's why we went with Trapper and Claudette to really focus on.
I have to actually buy the paid section, don't I? Okay, look at this.
Original characters.
When I look at it, like, okay, blood points. How much blood points is it worth? I think Tome 1s are all really worth 15,000, aren't they? Like, seriously, maybe this one's worth a little more? Yeah. Like Madness 1, yeah, this is an easy one. But, like, the fact is that they don't care. They don't give two fucking shits about anything but their fucking casual garbage. Poison Jane.
Experiences based on their abilities, and since this might mean that obviously
Bronze Age
of free and DLC,
are they done with this yet? Okay.
We're gonna make sure that we make these characters as easy.
So I have to buy that paid one if I want to do it.
So they'll be
what's even the rewards? Is it worth it? The Auric cells are the best rewards.
Trying out right now a sale on some of these characters, so 30%.
I didn't like do much here, bro. Can I like?
Dr.
I can still accept challenges on the old tome.
So
okay.
Get a head start, get these.
See, I didn't even know that, bro. You can do.
Enjoy them. I'm one of those guys that
can you still get the rewards on the old tone? Probably not.
Wow. That's okay.
Okay, it doesn't matter. I see. I'm falling for their trap, bro. I'm falling for their trap. I'm getting so invested in the tome.
No great segue on that one.
Okay, are we moving on from the tome yet?
That's okay.
It's okay.
Jiminy Crow is asking, will future tomes be focused?
We're still talking about tomes, everybody.
Oh, I think you kind of like brushed.
We're still talking about tomes. I think I'd rather die than keep listening to this shit about the tomes.
Characters, because we also had.
This is really ridiculous.
Continuation of the Hallowed Blight story, and then we started off with...
Jokers.
So I think the format going forward...
Scrolling through social media, bruh.
4 characters, 2 survivors, 2 killers, and really expanding on their backstories.
Like, as fun as that sounds, I don't fucking...
Obviously,
care.
At some point we will run out of characters, we can only make so many.
Like, I don't fucking care, dude.
So it's really wherever...
About this shit. I could actually care less about this shit.
The world of DVD.
On the gameplay side,
develop the world of DVD.
We don't have so many people.
How about you fix the game? Like they're branching off to like 50 different side projects and side ideas and ignoring the fact that their game is not well. The game is not well right now.
Why is Claudette being used even more than normal? Like, okay, it's our fault. Yeah.
Why is Claudette being used even more than normal? Almost like she's being used 80% of the time. Maybe you should give her some different outfits. That's how you fix Claudette. You want to fix Claudette, you need to give her light-skinned outfits. You need to give her white outfits, light blue outfits, pink outfits, stuff to make her stand out. Go through and fix her texture. Make that shirt she has a bright pink. You gotta, like, they laugh about it. They go, "How? That's our fault." Hey. Like, that doesn't, I don't enjoy hearing that, because when you just told me that Ruin was nerfed because of its overuse, and then you sit here and laugh about Claudette's being used more than everybody else, like, do you see the bias in their analysis coming forth already? Like when killers use something a lot, it gets nerfed. If survivors use something so much, these people laugh about it. It's crap.
And Ricky Rick is asking, will the archives ever focus on maps like they do characters?
Why would they ever focus on the maps, you fucking degenerate?
Because I love our maps, and I find that when the art team makes them, they have a lot of cool history that does go into them.
You mean like the backstory of the map? That would be the only thing they can do there.
Rework, like, taking a look at that.
Bruh, I don't fucking care, dude. Let's skip this shit.
There's tons of see you guys.
Alright, awesome. So,
Okay, so that asshole got kicked out, so maybe we're I skipped that question, and maybe we're moving on to the actual fucking sauce.
professional. Yes, thank you, Pete.
It says this guy's a game designer.
Ethan, thank you for joining
He's a
us.
very bad one.
Hello, Ethan. Ethan, what
Hi,
do you do on
Ethan.
the project?
What do you do?
I'm live designer, so anything that has already shipped and needs to be tweaked, that's up to me.
Okay, so this is the guy that ruined Hex Ruin.
Okay. Just to address something, why am I standing up?
You're standing up?
A couple of questions about it.
Yeah, why?
I'm very short, and when I sit on a chair,
Okay, so she acknowledged, like, she thought that was clever, right? But she just acknowledged she's reading the live feed. And so, all those 50 comments about how your game is fucking unbalanced as shit, you just ignored, and you addressed them. So, like, it's not the fact that you don't have it pulled up, because you just addressed something from the live feed. So, all those 85 comments about how the game isn't balanced, and you just, how the comments from Red Rank Killers about how you just killed Hex Ruin, and all that good shit, and how the game is fucked, all that shit you just ignored, and you're, like, these guys are schmucks, dude.
behind the...
That's too short, bruh.
It's like more...
We'll get you a booster seat next time.
Get you a booster seat next time.
Alright.
Fix your game.
Ruin question.
Here we go, finally! 25 minutes in, we're gonna get our first ruin question.
Then we have doctor questions, then we have missed questions, and we have 40 minutes to go. So we're gonna try to make it happen and answer as much as we can in 40 minutes. But sadly, someone needs the room after, so we're gonna...
Okay, okay, here's the problem I have already. So they have like an hour with this shit, right? They decided to spend 20 minutes of it answering tome and archive questions. A tome and archive is something you should be saving for little, like, designer notes. Because, like, who really cares about that? You wasted 20 minutes of what should have been a productive live stream about ruin and game design and balancing. Talking about the tomes and the archives.
Have to cut it at the right time.
Alright, here we go. Let's see what we got here, though.
Let's go.
Let's see what they say.
Wait, what?
You say missed
Miss...
questions? Okay, I was like, Fog Champ.
There's just one little funny thing about when I was working on Ruin. The word ruin is in the beginning of the lyrics too. Alright, stop what you're doing. Because I'm about to ruin the image and the style that you're used to. I look funny, but you're all making money, see, so your world hope you're ready.
What the fuck are they doing?
Anyway.
I think you should talk with Samination. Maybe we should get...
Will you fucking quit stalling and ask the questions?
Alright.
Sweet, so let's talk about Ruin.
Yeah.
On this, let's go. So, we're jumping right away in the questions.
Here we go.
236.
Here we go.
Is asking, what was the thought process behind the Ruin change?
What was, okay, I told you that's what it was gonna be. I told you. They would just ask them, I said that. I said that, exact phrasing. I told you that's what they would do. Because they don't fucking care. It's not about the effects of it. The thought process that they had was clearly laid out in their fucking newsletter. If you fucking read it, kid. It's not about, like, seriously. Okay, maybe they'll expand on it a little here, but that was a wasted question. Or maybe it's the fact that question was the one that they were like, oh, we could scrub and BS 5 minutes out of this one, so let's use it. So it was a combination of a bad question, and these businessmen just capitalized on it. Okay, so let's hear them repeat what they put in their newsletter.
Well, that started back last July.
Last July. So we're going almost a year that they've been thinking about this.
The old I'm going to say old and new Ruin. The old version of Ruin had very passive gameplay. So if you were running the perk, it just did stuff, and you didn't have to interact with it. And
you didn't have to interact with it. But okay, let's talk about that. It was just doing stuff. Okay, we've already covered this, because they're talking about how passive it was, and that was the reason that they changed it, again, in their newsletter, if you fucking read it, dude. The passive nature, but, like, how long is it actually doing stuff in a game that, like, with good players? The average was probably 2 minutes at most. But, like, the fact is, it might have been only doing stuff for 10 seconds. And it's just gone. And Salmonation made fun of you at the beginning for it. Like the match started, Trapper took a step, and the ruin was cleansed. He made fun of you because it's just too strong, bruh. And like. And the other thing is the fact that the stuff it was doing actually wasn't that good if the survivors you were playing against were good. So not only was its effect not good, like, the effect wasn't good enough to warrant passive gameplay. The effect Shrek scrubs, it Shrek'd horrible players because it's a hex totem, and then the effect also just, the skill checks also just couldn't get hit by bad players. So it's a combination of two things that really beat bad players. Hex totems not being found, and then the skill checks. Both those things beat Scrubs. From day one, they beat Scrubs.
We didn't feel that was that exciting.
You didn't feel like it was that exciting. What about what's necessary? It's not about what's exciting. And this new ruin's exciting? This new ruin. Oh, bro, the new ruin gets me so fucking hard, dude. It's so exciting how I have to go push survivors off a gen, and then the regression rate is half of what they can do in 10 seconds. Like, yo, that's so exciting, bro. That's so great. I'm so excited. That's so exciting.
We also have an inconsistency in the power of Ruin from moment to moment because of the random nature of skill checks.
It's not, okay, Ruin wasn't inconsistent because of the random nature of skill checks. That's not why Ruin was inconsistent, you out-of-touch degenerate. The reason that Ruin was inconsistent was because one game the totems lasted for the entire match, and the other game it was down in 10 seconds. So literally, it could last 10 seconds or the entire match. That's what the inconsistency was coming from, not because of the skill checks. Granted, that was probably a part of it, but definitely not the whole thing. It has less to do with the skill checks and more the fact that the totem is standing or it's gone. That's where the inconsistency and the power of the perk comes from. It's the nature of a hex perk. It's the nature of a hex perk. That's what it's really down to. And as I said, like, it's not actually super powerful because of the nature of the fact that the red ranks were actually good at hitting the skill checks and finding the totem. So it's like, the two things that it did were countered by being good. So the inconsistent reward actually found a quite consistency at the red ranks. You could expect to get maybe 2 minutes out of the perk, 2 to 4 minutes at the most, when you're at the red ranks. That's the consistency. Anywhere from 18 seconds to 4 minutes is what you could really expect out of the perk at the red ranks, without just facing bad players. That's where the inconsistency came from, jackass.
If you did a generator and you got no skill checks, Ruin had no effect. But if you got like 10 skill checks...
Okay, so that was a problem with the inconsistency of Ruin. I ask you again, how is this new Ruin more consistent? If you're on a generator now and you get skill checks, how does Ruin stop you? It doesn't. So it's consistently bad now. The only thing it's consistency is the fact that it's bad and not doing anything.
It hurt really badly, so we wanted to even that out.
Even it out? Well, but even it out, when you even it out, you just made it suck. That's what you did. So in fact, instead of like making it viable, you just said, okay, sometimes it's viable, sometimes it's not. We'll just make it not viable to make it consistent. Yeah, that helps. That's really great. Thanks, dude.
We also wanted to help with the onboarding of new players.
You wanted to help with the new players. See, this is all they fucking care about. This is all they fucking care about. New players, new players, new players, new players. I don't hate new players. Trickle-down balancing doesn't hate new players either. The fact is, you learn the game. Hex Ruin was a part of the game. You gotta learn how to do it. You gotta learn how to get good at it. You gotta know how to get rid of the totem. You gotta learn how to hit the skill checks if you want to get good at this game. New players, new players. Here's what you do about new players. New players are at rank 20, okay? So they're not seeing Ruin anyway. Rank 20 to rank 15s, they're not seeing it every game anyway because the killers that they're playing haven't gotten the teachables consistently yet. You're only seeing Ruin consistently, but most likely from green ranks onward. Okay? So new players really shouldn't see it that much anyway. You want to talk about new players. And again, that's all they cared about. New players, new players, new players. How did this change affect the red ranks? It made it unplayable. New players. So we'll make the new players happy, but say fuck off to the veterans, because again, that's all they care about. New players, the revolving door system. New players come in, a veteran leaves. That's what they care about. As long as a new player comes in for every veteran that gets frustrated and leaves, they don't care that a veteran just left. We got a new player. Yay!
Veteran players didn't really get affected that much by Ruin.
The veteran players didn't really get affected by much that Ruin. So they acknowledged, this is incredible to me. They just acknowledged the fact that the veteran players didn't get hit by it that much. So their response was to nerf the perk. Veteran players didn't really get affected by it that much. They just said that. That's a quote you can now pull from this guy. Like, I don't know what to tell you people about these guys being so out of touch. So their response was to just nerf it and let high level die. It's like incredible to me that was their response. The veteran players weren't affected by it that much. So they're it's a joke.
So, they just ignore it because they can do the great skill checks.
One complaint was it gets we're talking old Ruin. Yeah. One complaint was it gets cleansed too early, and that's for any expert really at the moment. And the second complaint was also, well, good players are just running true Ruin like it's nothing, so they don't really...
Okay, so those are the two complaints that I just said. So they have acknowledged the two complaints, okay? That it gets cleansed too fast and the veteran players power through it. How does this new Ruin, this is my question, how does this new Ruin make up for those changes? Is it lasting longer? No. Are veteran players still powering through it? Yes. So it's not lasting any longer, and when it does, and even if it does last longer, the veteran players can now power through it even more because it doesn't affect their skill checks anymore. So basically, the complaints that we've had were unaddressed by the new Ruin. The new Ruin is now worse, so now there are more additional complaints with the new Ruin. So the fact that it doesn't actually stop the gen times anymore is complaint number 3. Number 4, you want it to be used in the late game where it's dead. Seriously, they acknowledge the complaint that it goes down too fast, so their response was to make it good in the late game. Do you see how idiotic these people are? Idiotic. Their problem with the perk is because it was passive. That was their reason for nerfing it, is because it was passive. Because Killer isn't an active enough role in Dead by Daylight. Being in every single chase in the game isn't being active enough for it. Do you not see why in a role of the game that is so active in everything that it does? Hell, fixing a generator is passive gameplay. You hold a button and then the fucking bar goes up. That's passive gameplay. Why isn't fixing a generator more interactive? You want to talk about nerfing passive gameplay. Why don't we make gens more interactive to be fixed? Make fixing a generator harder. Make it take more time that way. Make it like a puzzle, like in BioShock, where you have to like put the pipes in and like make it super hard. Like seriously. You want to talk about passive gameplay being too good? How about 80 seconds? How about this? How about holding a button for 80 seconds is not as hard as running around and running the loops every single fucking chase, patrolling the map, managing it, stuff like that. Maybe you should have thought about that if you want to nerf some passive gameplay in this game. I got some passive gameplay ideas that could get nerfed right here for you, motherfucker. But no. Ruin was the passive idea that needed nerf. And is it really so fucking hard to accept that in the active role that the Killer is, that the one passive perk that was good for something, like, that was good? That was the best thing in the game? Do you not see why? Killers debatably need more passive perks. Perks that are doing something without them having to do anything. Killers debatably need more perks like that, let alone nerfing the one we have. Killers need more passive perks because it's an active role. That's why passive stuff is good on Killer. That's why something like Whispers, which is probably the most passive perk we have now, that's why stuff like that is good, and it will always be good. It's just a fact that if you give Killer something passive, it will be good. Because of the active nature of the gameplay itself. And again, you want to nerf some passive gameplay? Why don't you nerf fixing a generator, you fucking clown? Nerf fixing a generator if you want to nerf some passive gameplay. 80 seconds holding a button, sometimes tapping another button. That's not passive gameplay? Idiots. They're fucking clowns, dude. Okay. Let's keep going before I fucking lose my fucking mind. My computer's shut off because I had it paused so long, so you gotta give it a second.
Go for cleansing.
Yeah, simultaneously too weak and too strong.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was kind of weird.
Simultaneously too weak and too strong, he said. That's what he said. So again, their solution was to just make it too weak, to give it consistency. And it wasn't too strong. It wasn't too strong. They just acknowledged the fact that at the red ranks it was getting powered through. It wasn't too strong. That's bullshit.
Starting with these observations, where did we go after that?
Your observations are bullshit, bruh. Your observations are bullshit. They don't make any sense. And again, I'm not saying we shouldn't have changed Ruin, but the fact is we weren't ready to do it. We don't have enough control over the generators to where we can handle the perk's loss.
Two different possibilities, I think, that we looked at. Like, we knew we wanted to keep it generator related, something to help slow generators understand.
Well, I mean, there's a generator on the fucking perk art, so it'd be kind of dumb if you didn't.
Yep, and a few of the things that we tried ended up even more OP than...
Like what, motherfucker? Like what? What are some of your big solutions for what you did that wasn't this?
And the original version of the one that just shipped not only had the bonus regression, but it also had a blanket reduction to repair speed.
That would have been okay! Did you hear what they just said? It had the effect it does now, but also, as long as it's out there, a base regression to gen repair speed. That would have been okay! If they just did. First of all, generator speeds just need nerfed. They just straight up need fucking nerfed. But that actually would have been okay! Because it would have been a passive, it still would have kept the idea of it being passive and slowing down gen repair times. Notice how when they change Ruin, this is I think it's funny. Compare the Ruin changes to the Doctor changes. Just compare them. They talk about how when the Doctor changes, they wanted to keep Doctor's identity. There was no statement like that in the Ruin changes. Ruin's identity is a passive perk that the old Ruin's identity was a passive perk that slows down generator repair times in the early game. There was no statement that they wanted to keep Ruin's identity when they gave it this change. Because this change objectively doesn't keep Ruin's identity. Even if you would agree or disagree with the changes, the fact is that the old Ruin and the new Ruin have a completely separate identity. And the old one had the superior identity because it was the thing that stopped gens in the early game, which is when killers need the most help because it's so survivor favored if the early game is. They get on a generator and that's that. The killer has to patrol them and hope to God they pick the right one. Hopefully get the spawn times down a little bit and just hope to God they pick the right one. And then hope to God the survivors are still on it when they get over there. Because like a good claw, it's like to run spine chill and run off and blend that until you leave. Which, I mean, if you're Ghostface or Wraith, you can usually take care of it. But, you know, or Myers, you can usually get there. But, you know, Myers has 105 movement speed, so that's another problem. But it's... They did not want to keep Ruin's identity. As you can clearly see, if they put that change in the game, I think a lot of killers would be more than willing to meet them halfway, myself included. If they just said, okay, here's what we'll do. As long as Ruin's up, base generator times are significantly reduced. That would have been okay. That would have been fine. It doesn't affect skill checks anymore, so it's less frustrating, but the fact is your base gen times... See... I don't think they're I don't think they're stupid as much as I like say that they're stupid. Well, they are stupid. Okay, let me rephrase that sentence because I don't really know what I'm talking about now. I think they clearly showed that they knew what Ruin's identity was. So they had an idea of what it was doing for killer. But they decided to not do it for some reason. Probably because the higher-ups said make this game the most casual friendly possible. What do casuals play Survivor? Boom. Favorite Survivor plays.
Across the board, and that was ridiculous.
Yeah.
That was ridiculous, he said. How ridiculous was it? Again, it's gonna get cleansed in 10 fucking seconds. How was it ridiculous? I want to know how ridiculous it was. Why didn't you put that in the PTB? You always say you want player feedback. You should have put that in the PTB. You thought it was going to be ridiculous. But when you're a bunch of rank 15s and don't know how high level works, what is your stance to evaluate anything on anything? Veteran players are powering through it. So why would that have been too good? I ask you. Why would that have been too good? You should have just fucking put that in the PTB and see what it did, rather than trusting your own judgment. Trust the judgments of your veteran player base. Trust the judgments of the people that know what they're fucking doing. You should have just fucking put that in the PTB. Because again, that's a change I would be accepting of if it just because again, if it nerfs their base generator repair times, let's talk about what that would have done. It would have made it impossible for veterans to power through it. It would have made the perk do what it's supposed to do. It would have given the perk more of a consistency because of the fact that veteran players power through it aren't really affected by it. It would have fixed that problem with it. It would have kept the perk strong, kept the perk's identity, and made it affect the veteran players too, because their base gen repair times were affected by it. It wasn't their skill checks, it was the base generator time. And the only counterplay you need to a hex totem is to find the totem. Seriously, you don't need any other counterplay to that than to just find the totem. Seriously, what's the counterplay to the third seal? Find the totem. Blindness status effect doesn't go away until you find the totem. Again, blindness isn't good, so nobody runs the third seal. But the point is, that's the counterplay. Yeah, the only counterplay you need to a totem is finding it. Bullshit. The fact that this change didn't get in, they didn't get to the PTB. They didn't even let players try it. They didn't even see what the win rates for killer or survivor would be if you put that in. They didn't even and ideally killer rates need to go up. It should ideally what they need to be searching for is a balanced 50-50 at the red ranks. If they're balancing this game for trickle down balancing. They need an ideal 50-50 at the red ranks when both sides are being played optimally. They need an ideal 50-50. So, would that change have made killer win rates shoot up? Really? Would it really have done that? I argue no, absolutely fucking not. 27 minutes into this, dude. Well, I'm gonna take a break.
It's sort of in the middle of the suggestions that we have, and we're fairly confident that it's where it should be at the moment.
They're fairly confident it's where it should be at the moment. Absolute proof that these fuckers don't know anything about high-level gameplay. They're confident it's where it should be. And that's all you really need to know about Dead by Daylight developers, dude. They don't know what they're doing. They don't know how high-level gameplay works. They don't know. Well, but the thing is, they do know. They said they acknowledged the fact that the veterans were powering through it. They're happy with it. They think it's right where it needs to be. How? Why? Because it's consistent? It's bad! It's consistently bad. If you're searching for consistency, good job. You just made it suck. Now no one's gonna fucking run it at red rank anymore. Unless it's all they fucking have, which is like sometimes I'll run it on Switch because that's literally all I got right now because I don't have enough points in everybody to have all their teachables yet. But do you think I'm gonna run it once I get Thanatophobia and Sloppy? Absolutely fucking not. I'm getting rid of it. Because I'm not running that shit. It's garbage. All they did by making it more consistent was make it consistently bad. And now no one's gonna run it. It's garbage. It's trash. It's terrible. No one's gonna run it anymore. Passive gameplay. Fucking fix the generators, dude.
Alright. So, knowing that, we're gonna go to the other questions. Hitenshi. I have no idea if I said that properly.
Sounds good.
Will other slowdown perks see changes as well?
Will other slowdown perks be changed as well? Let's see what they say.
Well, if we take for example a game where you have a lot of slowdown perks, it can be the gameplay ends up feeling kind of stale because they spend an awful lot of time.
That's right, guys. The gameplay's a bit stale because of the slowdown perks. That's why the gameplay's stale. Because if somebody brings Thanatophobia, Dying Light, Sloppy Butcher, Nurse's Calling, it's because of that. Maybe, have you considered why? I just want to know if they considered why. Why do people have builds that consist of 4 slowdown perks? Have you even considered why? Like these say, oh, that makes the gameplay stale. Why? Why do killers do that? Why do killers run 4 slowdown perks? Why does a killer's build Sloppy Butcher, Thanatophobia, Pop Goes the Weasel, and Dying Light? Why? Why is that a perk build that some killers run? Because, have you considered it's because generators fly? Have you considered it's because gens go too fucking fast? I just, that's what my question would be. Have you considered that that's why? That gens fly too fucking fast in this game? No? Okay, you fucking pieces of shit.
Wanting on the generators. For example, if you have somebody running the old ruin, Pop Goes the Weasel, Dying Light, and Thanatophobia, making any progress on generators it's just painfully slow.
It's just painfully slow. Bullshit. I'll tell you why. Let's just say someone has Dying Light, Pop Goes the Weasel. What did he say? Thanatophobia? I think he said Thanatophobia.
stale because they spend an awful lot of time just M1ing on the generators. For example, if you have somebody running the Old Ruin, Pop Goes the Weasel, Dying Light, and Thanatophobia.
Okay, so Old Ruin, Pop Goes the Weasel, Dying Light, Thanatophobia. Okay, so let's talk about what happens. Old Ruin, okay, game starts. Old Ruin dies in 10 seconds. Old Ruin's dead. So, Old Ruins, okay, this is a typical red rank match. Game starts, you're at Haddonfield, some of the safest generators in the game. Match starts, Ruin dies in either in between 10 and 25 seconds. Which, again, sounds ridiculous, but it was happening. Believe it. Go watch my last few matches on Haddonfield. Ruin didn't stay up more than Ruin did not stay up more than 25 seconds in 2 of the 3 games at Haddonfield. So, Old Ruin dies between 20 and a minute. So Old Ruin's gone within the first minute of the match. You're sitting there. A killer now is patrolling the map. They're having an average patrol time. They've hit 1 guy. Okay, Thanatophobia. What are Thanatophobia's numbers? Hold on. Tier 3 Thanatophobia. Let's look it up. Thanatophobia. Thanatophobia DVD. Okay. Yeah, it's so clunky to read because of the way I show on my phone. Okay. 4% to repair speed. Okay, so you're having an average patrol time. The Ruin dies in the first minute. You found 1 guy and you've hit them. Gens are 4% reduced. Okay? In order for Dying Light and Pop Goes the Weasel to do anything, they have to get it down. Okay? They have to down somebody. So we'll be generous to Dying Light. We'll say that the person you've hit is not your obsession. Okay? So you down the guy. They're on the hook. By now, if the survivor that you just faced was an average kiter and was pretty damn good, 1 generator, 1.5 gens have probably popped. You throw them on the hook. Thanatophobia is still going. 4%. Dying Light goes. You have Dying Light 3. What's Dying Light 3? 3.5? I think Dying Light 3 is 3. Look, I have it on Myers. So I can just look it up. I'm stupid. What? Wait, no. Freddy. It's on Freddy. Because I just fucking tiered Myers. Dying Light 3. Just 3%. So, you hook somebody, 4% plus 3%, 7% with 1.5 gens already done. Okay? They get the obsession gets the save. They have a 33% speed to healing, so they just healed the guy. You hit somebody else. What? So the heal. So like boom. The basically free will make it from Dying Light because Dying Light's downside is the free will make it for the other guy. So you hit somebody else. It's still at 7%. By the time you down the second guy, another generator should already been popped. Right. So this is obviously a late game setup. To say that the progression of the game is slow is absolute shit. If the survivors are good at kiting. And again, Pop Goes the Weasel. They only work if the downs are happening fast enough. And again, if the downs are happening fast enough, the survivors are probably going to lose the game anyway. Because if the killer can reliably down people, slowdown perks aren't necessary. Because the fact is, slowing the people down and chasing people is the most reliable way in this game to slow the game down. It's the most reliable. Because sloppy, people will heal. Dying Light is passive, but it relies on downing. Pop Goes the Weasel is good, relies on downing. Downing people is the best way to slow people down in this game. Added numbers to lethality helps stall the game. So, that's why I argue Dying Light and Pop Goes the Weasel aren't as good as these people seem to think they are. Because if you're getting a good game out of Dying Light or a good game out of Pop Goes the Weasel, would you have really needed them to win? You have to really ask yourself that. Granted, if there's a late game setup, possibly yes. But those don't happen every single time. If you're just steamrolling over the survivors because you got like a weird matchmaking game where they're like all like green ranks and you're just steamrolling over them, was Dying Light helping you win? Really? Are you gonna really look at me in the face and say Dying Light was helping you win? No. It was because of your downing more than anything else. So for these people to say that Dying Light and Pop Goes the Weasel and like a bunch of slowdown perks together are the things that are making the game slow, that's a bunch of shit. All you have to do is kite the guy, you negate Dying Light, and you negate Pop Goes the Weasel. and then Thanatophobia's numbers are not good. So all you have to do is kite the guy, and you'll never see Dying Light or Pop Goes the Weasel in the numbers that'll actually slow the game down. And then the old Ruin, dead in 10 seconds, didn't actually matter. So you see how that is a high level perspective on the perk build he just gave and how it's countered. But of course, they're just gonna say, oh, gen times were slow, not even paying any attention to the fact of the conditions that Dying Light and Pop Goes the Weasel have to go off. There's potential to play around that by kiting, asshole.
Yeah. Making any progress on generators it's just painful.
It's painfully slow.
So over time, our goal is to make these perks less obnoxious when you run them together, but individually we still want them to be useful. For example, the new Ruin.
Okay, fantastic. They just said that they want combos to be nerfed. They want to make the perks less obnoxious when you run them together. As I said, I predicted this last year. The Thanatophobia Sloppy Butcher combo would be nerfed. And that's what they basically confirmed. They want slowdown generator combo perks to be nerfed. So when you run perks together, like Dying Light and Thanatophobia, they want them nerfed, because it's affecting casual play. So basically, what they're saying is by the end of 2020, you could expect generator combos to be nerfed. Again, hurts killers really bad. And basically, these combos are the things people are doing now. This is how we're replacing Hex Ruin. If you're gonna nerf all these combos without any commentary on this gen rush, the game is going to die. And I promise that. The game is going to fucking die if you do this.
Blocks out being able to kick generators, so it doesn't synergize.
Hold on. What did you just say?
It doesn't synergize at all.
Oh, but the new Ruin doesn't let you kick gens.
With, say, Pop Goes the Weasel. Right. Now, if you're worried that Ruin will get cleansed early, and you take Pop Goes the Weasel, the survivors trade one for the other. Right.
Yeah, but that doesn't work. That's not good enough. Again, the fact is, let's talk about all this shit. All this shit they're suggesting may have been good if, like, the game was already balanced. The problem is, this is the stuff that the killers need right now. These types of combinations. For the killers to stay in the meta, this is what they need. They need to bring combinations that really slow down these generator times. Because that's what they really fucking need to do. And, like, seriously, Thanatophobia's numbers are trash. So, Thanatophobia slash Sloppy Butcher versus Dying Light and Pop is probably what the meta will be if they go in this direction. Because, which don't worry, they will. It favors survivors, so they will. So, that's what it's gonna be. Or, killers are just have to, like, really start running endgame builds. We're gonna have to start running shit like Blood Warden, No-Ed. No-Ed's balanced now, by the way, because of what they did to Ruin. No-Ed is not a crutch perk anymore. It's officially just straight up needed in a lot of builds. So, like, if they go in this direction, No-Ed's meta right now, which, again, I'm sure they're going to talk about nerfing No-Ed in this stream. I'm sure they're going to talk about it.
So that's a way you can use it as a sort of insurance policy.
See, this is such a biased analysis. What about all the shit on the other side? What about jungle? What about this disturbed ward loop in the middle? We're talking about how all this shit on killers is kind of stupid. It's kind of silly. It's kind of obnoxious. Let's talk about why the center of disturbed ward is obnoxious. Let's talk about why the Killer Shack is obnoxious. Not to say that the Killer Shack needs nerf. The Killer Shack is exactly where it needs to be. But in order to, that doesn't mean it's not obnoxious. Like, you're using that adjective obnoxious. Like, this is why, like, killer combinations of perks are obnoxious. Let's talk about why the boat on Pale Rose is obnoxious. Let's talk about why the underbelly of Grim Pantry is obnoxious. You want to talk about shit that's obnoxious in this game. Let's talk about how 80-second generator repair times are obnoxious. That perk, that word obnoxious is bullshit. Dying Light. I already poked a hole in his entire build and how you beat it. You just beat it by kiting the killer. Because then Pop Goes the Weasel and Dying Light don't see play. Thanatophobia's numbers are garbage and the old room would get cleansed in 10 seconds. So it really wouldn't do anything. It really wouldn't do anything if you just kited the killer. Bullshit.
A lot of people already running New Ruin with Surveillance. That was that was something.
That's a pretty potent combo.
Yeah.
But
that's a pretty potent combo. Okay, let's talk about why New Ruin and Surveillance isn't good. Okay, first of all, New Ruin still gets cleansed in 10 seconds if the survivor spine dead. So that you can't expect New Ruin to last. because it's not a priority, you can expect it to last like the entire game a bit longer, I guess. Like, you can expect it to last maybe a tiny bit longer because it's not a priority. Okay? But surveillance in the new ruin are only good for tracking. Okay? So Spine Chill eats it. If you're so the survivor has Spine Chill, Object of Obsession, literally anything that negates the fact the stealth, or your terror radius being too big, that could stop it. It's a bunch of bullshit, bro. Like all you have to do is kite the killer again, kite the killer, and ruin and surveillance is bad. All it does is offer tracking. Tracking is a terrible stat in this game. Okay, and tracking outside of an aura reading is not good. Seeing someone's aura is good, but the fact is, ruin and surveillance is painfully average. It's painfully average. Way too much counterplay. It's not potent. It's painfully average. On the bad side, not even worth running. Why would you run ruin and surveillance over Dying Light, Thanatophobia, Sloppy, like by an actual combination that can slow down the game? When you're the Wraith or your Ghostface, you have an actual potent combination for slowing the game down. Why would you ever consider ruin and surveillance? That's half your perk slot. That's half your build. And just for ruin to die in 10 seconds and then the combination doesn't work anymore. It's a completely overrated thing. Who's overrating it? Survivors. You know why they think it's good? Because the people that are saying it's good are the rank 15s that don't know anything about playing killer. They're the rank 15s that can't actually kite. They're the rank 15s that don't know how to use the structures. Ruin and surveillance is only good for tracking, and until then, once ruin's cleansed, surveillance isn't that great. So so as soon as ruin dies, that entire combination is basically useless, unless you're like a super good stealth killer and they don't have Spine Chill or Object of Obsession. I don't know what else to tell you guys. Tracking is not as good as lethality and gen stalling. So, for something to be good at tracking is not as good as it's slowing down the generators and being good for closing down the chase. That's how it is in this game. You see these people and the survivors saying, just run ruin with surveillance. Like, they don't know anything about high-level killer. They don't know jack shit about it. They don't know anything. They literally know nothing about it. 28 minutes, dude. It's already been an hour and 11 minutes. Oh my god. How long am I going to bitch about these people? To see, their ignorance is shining through here. Their ignorance about what killers go through is shining through. And, like, they haven't said one thing about survivors being obnoxious. This entire stream, they haven't said one thing about survivors. And about survivors might be a little too strong. They haven't mentioned survivors at all. It's about the killers being obnoxious. Because that's what we are, right? We're obnoxious. We want changes. We want buffs. We want survivors to be changed. That's being obnoxious in this game, right? Holy fucking shit, dude. It's so ridiculous. It's so ridiculous. I need a fucking refill, dude. My Coke is already almost gone. Alright. Alright, bro. We're gonna take like a 30-second break for me to get a new drink. Alright, hold on 1 second, friends. But, like, again, you see what I'm saying here. Like, again, this is such a biased analysis. They haven't said one thing about survivors this whole time. No potential trade-offs. Okay, we took ruin away, but we're gonna have to nerf exhaustion perks. Like, they haven't said one thing about trade-offs that the killers might be getting for losing Hex Ruin. Did you expect anything less from these people, though? That's what I'm wondering. Did you expect anything less from them? I'm getting exactly what I thought I was gonna get from this. Which is a bunch of bullshit. A bunch of reiteration and a bunch of bullshit. Just what I was expecting from Dead by Daylight developers, bro. I wasn't expecting anything less. Why would I have expected anything less from these people, dude? These people clearly don't know their game. Clearly. They clearly don't understand it. They clearly don't know it. Alright. Moving on.
You can always cleanse it so you're not stuck with that the whole game. But
yeah, the whole game. You're not stuck with it for more than a minute if you're good.
It popped up and one of the testers came up and said, should ruin work with surveillance? And we thought, oh my god. And then we played a couple times and thought, yeah, it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool.
It's pretty cool. They like it. It's pretty cool. Except it dies in 10 seconds. Idiots, bro.
Yeah. I think we're going to go to Luca's question.
Sure.
So,
okay.
Luca 2211
Have you considered making?
Have you considered making Ruin a non-hex perk? Because that one came back a lot in the feedback.
We did see that a lot.
We had a whole thread, which, by the way.
Okay, so they're about to say no to this. They're about to say no to this because they just mentioned how Ruin and Surveillance, you're not stuck with that combination the entire game. They're about to say no to this. Okay, but I don't. They might mention Surveillance as a reason why, because they think it's broken, but the fact is, this is what if the new Ruin should have just been an other perk on another killer that does this exact thing.
Congrats to the people on the forum, because that thread was absolutely amazing. Of like, okay, what will you do instead of this? And there was a lot of things that we picked out of this post. And also, people were very, very good at staying civil, and that was impressive. And the designer actually took the time to read all of those.
Yeah, a lot of us do spend a lot of time on the forum reading stuff.
Oh, I'm sure you do, Fucker. I'm sure you do.
Yeah, it's really helpful actually to see outside perspectives, because when you're stuck in the middle of something, sometimes you don't.
Well, that's odd, because a lot of the outside perspectives that I saw said this change is horrible. That's what a lot of the when I was explaining this to people, they said it was awful. When my girlfriend was explaining this to her friends, awful. Like, they all said it was awful.
See everything. Yeah.
So, anyways, that suggestion of Ruin not being an X.
Yeah.
What's your take on it?
No.
We considered it.
They considered it. They considered it. Because they always say shit like that. But they're about to say no.
Didn't seem right. First, all three of the hex perks that first shipped are hag perks, so hag perks need to say hex perks.
Hag perks need to stay hex perks. Who said that? You? You're allowed to change your rules. You clearly have done it with this game so far. You clearly don't have any respect for the rules of your game anyway. So, whatever.
And if it stays a hex perk, we can keep its power level up. Like, if we made it not...
If it stays a hex perk, you can keep its power level up. That's not what you did! Its power level right now is fucking garbage! It's shit! No one's fucking gonna run it anymore. Most of my builds, I'm just gonna take it out and swap it for Noed. It's shit! It's not worth running. It's not slowing down generators at all! It's shit! And again, I want to talk about Hex Ruin 1, because I think Hex Ruin 1 is the best demonstration of this. 100% of normal regression speed is just the normal regression speed, ladies and gentlemen. So basically, all Hex Ruin 1 does is make it so you don't have to kick a gem. That's where our Hex perks are at right now. Like, even like something like, okay, like look, do I have Devour Hope on Freddy? Even okay, I know. Even something like Devour Hope. Like okay, maybe I'll put Sloppy on Freddy instead of the new Noed. Because I don't even, there's Noed right there. I could run Sloppy or Noed on the new Freddy. I'll probably interchange them, honestly. But like that's it, bro. Like seriously, its power level is not up at all right now.
Perk, it would probably have to regress at a lower speed than it does now.
What do you say?
It would have to, exactly, it would have to.
Oh, he said if they made it a non-hex perk, it would have to regress at a lower speed. That is a bunch of bullshit. On Ruin 3, it takes survivors 10 seconds, and Ruin 3 gets rid of what they do in 10 seconds in 20 seconds. It's literally half as good as a survivor generator. If you wanted to make it 200% right now, 250, and then, okay, wait. So 10 seconds, 40 seconds, okay? So that's literally 1/4. So basically, killer, let me get a calculator out. Killer regression speed right now base is 25% as good as survivors. Okay, so if you wanted to make Hex Ruin 1 be 50% of what survivors do, so Hex Ruin 1 would be Hex Ruin... Yeah, Hex Ruin 1 would be Hex Ruin 3. Is that right? 200%, so half. Yeah, Hex Ruin 1 would be which should be Hex Ruin 3, and then Hex Ruin 2 should be what is it? Half, whatever the intermediate is between twice, but between 200%. Like Hex Ruin 3 should be it progresses at exactly the speed that they do it, and even then, it still would barely qualify to be a hex perk. Barely. if they did it that way, where Hex Ruin 1 is what Hex Ruin 3 is now. Hex Ruin 3 is it goes down exactly the speed that they do it. How about this? How about this? How about Hex Ruin 1 survivor on a generator is how fast it regresses. Hex Ruin 2 is when 2 survivors are on a generator. So it would go down by fucking 44 seconds. It would take 44 seconds to regress the full gen. Then we can use them gen speed times against you, bruh. It takes 44 seconds on, and then so on Hex Ruin 3 it would go down like 35 seconds. There you go. That might be strong. I think Hex Ruin right now needs a huge buff, and you could the easy way to buff it. This is the funniest thing to me about the new Hex Ruin. The new Hex Ruin. Do you know how buffed it would be if you just made it synonymous with Survivor gen speeds? That's how broken Survivor gen speeds are. You want to break the new Ruin? You want to make this Ruin be worth something? Give it Survivor generator speeds. Hex Ruin 1 Survivor. Hex Ruin 2 survivors. Hex Ruin 3 survivors on a generator. Make it take 35 seconds to fully regress the generator, because that's how long it takes to do it. You know how funny that would be? Just to see how bad that, just to see, wow, Ruin regresses generators way too fast. Oh, that's interesting, because that's just the speed that they go up when you do them. So that's weird. It's weird that you think it goes too fast. If dude, you gotta think about this stuff, dude. The Ruin does not regress generators nearly fast enough right now to be worth anything. But if you just made it synonymous with the Survivor speeds, they would hate it. They would hate the new Ruin if that's what it did. It's going down way too fast. Yeah, bro, that's interesting. Hex Ruin 2 literally just goes down at the same speed you guys do generators. But they're not going to do that, because they honestly think this perk is good right now. They honestly think it's good. And so, okay, it's so good that no one's running it. So, yeah, good job, guys. It looks really good down here.
It would happen. I don't think people would enjoy gameplay with this type of thing that cannot be dealt with.
Not be dealt with? Kiting! That's how you would deal with it! You don't think people would enjoy gameplay? Okay, again, why would you kill... what about the middle of Disturbed Ward? What about Haddonfield? What about the swamp maps? Do killer mains enjoy gameplay at those maps? We're talking about enjoying gameplay. How many killers get Haddonfield groan? Because they know they're about to get their ass kicked. I just want to know, dude.
And I think we're going to talk about it later in one of our 10 next Ruin questions. Groot Dude?
Yep.
Have you thought about keeping the no great skill check progress part of Ruin? So those are mostly like all the suggestions we've seen on forum.
No great skill check progress. That's not good enough, bruh. If they made that, if they made Ruin do that, it would still be as underpowered as it is right now.
And other places.
I think when we were talking...
Not that Ruin was great before!
People said, like, what if Ruin's not good enough as it is? What could be done?
It's not!
That's probably one of the suggestions we like the best.
Yeah, absolutely. That is a good suggestion. So if we find out that the current Ruin isn't living up to the amount of power we think it should have, that's something we're considering.
Okay, so if the Ruin ever gets buffed, that's what they're gonna do to it, and then it's still gonna be shit.
So there's like an opening...
Because remember, we all know about high-level gameplay more than these guys. So if the new Ruin needs buff, that's what they're gonna do to it, and the red ranks are gonna laugh at them.
Future reviewing and re-adding and readjusting.
I wouldn't say anything's like set in stone here yet.
Nothing's set in stone. It's a live game. Everything's bound to change, right?
Yeah, plus, I guess one of the other advantages of this change is that it's got a hint of nostalgia for the old Ruin without like all of the negatives that we have.
It's got a hint of nostalgia for it, bruh. In what ways, dude? This new Ruin doesn't keep the old Ruin's identity at all. Which, again, that was a theme they said they wanted to do with Doctor. Here again, the old Ruin was a thing that slowed down generator times in the early game. It was a hex perk that was strong enough to slow gen times in the early game. Unless the survivors were good, of course, and then you could expect it not to do anything. But, like, how is this new Ruin have a hint of nostalgia for the old one? How? Doesn't slow down gens in the early game. Oh, the only nostalgia I have is when I run it, it still dies in 10 seconds. That's the nostalgia you get from it, bruh. Fuck these people, dude.
Necessarily associated with it.
Alright.
31 minutes in and I already want to like blow every single one of the brains out. That's a terrible thing to say on live stream. Don't quote that. That's don't quote that. That was sarcasm.
Also, I want to add one thing. We've learned from our past mistakes. looking at you, Freddy released, where we changed things back really quickly, and
they're gonna use that against us. You hear that? They're gonna use that against us. What a manipulative snake. What a snake, dude. We learned from the Freddy release not to change things so fast. So it's like, killers, you were mad that we changed Freddy so fast, so now you get to suffer with Ruin being the way it is. What a snake. I'm sorry, that's offensive to me. What a snake.
As a team, we realized that it is actually a good thing to leave changes a little bit longer before we read.
Tell that to the fucking Oni! Tell that to the Oni! Fucking snake, dude. She's a snake! I can't believe I'm having to deal with that argument right now. We shouldn't change things so fast. Tell that to Ghostface, who was also immediately nerfed when he came to the console. Tell that to Ghostface and the Oni, that you know that, bruh. Tell that to Ghostface and Oni. Oni's turning immediately was nerfed. Ghostface's FOV immediately nerfed. We learned from our mistakes. We learned from the Freddy release not to do that. Shut the fuck up. You fucking snake. Awful. That is literally the most offensive thing. That is such manipulative language. That's such manipulative language. That is spiteful. That is so offensive to me. Like, seriously. That is so fucking offensive. We learned not to change things so fast because of the Freddy release. That is a bunch of fucking bullshit. And like, I can't believe that there's the Survivor mains are probably going, yeah, guys, yeah, you should really have the Survivor mains are going, yeah, that's a great point. That's a great point she just made. That's such manipulative language. It's basically saying, shut up, killer mains. Shut up, killer mains. Remember the last time we changed something, you guys got fucked by it? Remember that? Haha. Well, that's not the last time you quickly changed something, because the last two changes you made that were quick affected us too. Demogorgon was Oni. The last two changes you made nerfed Ghostface and nerfed Oni right after they were released. So don't fucking try to play that card on us. Fucking bitch, dude. Oh my god. The balls on her to even go there. Like, god damn! I'm stunned. I'm stunned.
Unless it's like blatantly
like not working.
Yeah. And basically we want to give the community the possibility to either find alternatives to Ruin or new builds, or even...
You want to give the community a chance to find alternatives. The alternatives that we have suck. They suck. There's a reason why Ruin was in... Okay, so what are the alternatives to Ruin? Okay, let's talk about what old Ruin did. Let's talk about what it did. Slow down gens in the early game. What perk slows down generators repair speeds in the early game? Besides Ruin. Unnerving presence? No. Nothing. 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 Not in the early game. I mean, maybe you can get a stack on Thanatophobia in the first minute. Wow, a whopping 4%. Cool. Nothing. Nothing. Dying Light, you have to actually down people. So, once you start downing people, the early game progresses to the mid game. So, nothing. You have to kick a generator that's already been worked on. The old Ruin, I mean, the new Ruin can, but it's bad at it. Nothing. 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 Because you got to start downing people. That's the mid game transition. Nothing. Corrupt Intervention. Corrupt Intervention is terrible. Corrupt Intervention would only be good if it was on all the generators. Nothing. 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 So basically, the only two perks that slow down generator repairs times in the early game are Hex Ruin, the new one, and Corrupt Intervention. So there's your pick, guys. Find your new build. So basically, killers are forced to go to a late game setup because they just nerfed our early game for no fucking reason. Find new builds. But yeah, but basically, Yeah, they are finding new builds. And then there's this fucker on the left here in the chair, I can't remember which one said it, was like, well, we're going to make sure that these combinations of perks are less obnoxious when they're used together. That was the new build. That's the new build where people are going with. Sloppy Butcher, Thanatophobia, Dying Light, you know, stuff like that. Pop Goes the Weasel, less obnoxious, ran together. So you're going to let killers find these new combinations and find these new builds just to fucking nerf them? Which is what I've been saying for like months that you guys do. But basically on stream, you just admitted it. So basically, she said find new builds. These assholes on the left were like, well, we're gonna nerf shit because if your build is too obnoxious when you run slowdown perks together, we're just gonna nerf that too. That's basically what they just said. We're planning to nerf your slowdown combinations, killers. Get ready for that. Well, that's the new build. Those are what's meta. So guess what? Killers expect more nerfs. It's not gonna get any fucking better. It's not gonna get any fucking better, guys. They already nerfed Ruin, and now they're coming for your fucking slowdown combinations. They're coming for your fucking Thanatophobia and Dying Light. They're coming for your Pop Goes the Weasel. They're coming for all of it. They're coming for all your fucking slowdown combinations. They're coming for your Sloppy Butcher. They're coming for your Wraith build. They're coming for your Ghost-based guild. They want all of it. They're gonna nerf all of it. They want every fucking slowdown combination build to be gone. Because they're going to make it less obnoxious to play against for all the fucking new players that don't know how to kite. Yeah, suck my ass, dude. Those people are still going to fucking lose because they can't kite. You can't teach kiting. You can't teach running. You can't make perks for... Okay, dead hard. Okay, the exhaustion perks, I guess. But, like, you can't just make a perk that says, run this perk and you're good. I mean, okay, the old Medal of Man. The old Medal of Man, that's what that did. Run this perk and you're good, is what that did. The old D-Strike. Yeah, so I guess they can. I don't want to give them any ideas. Run this perk's yellow rank survivors and your kite times will be equivalent to what the red ranks are. Yeah, that's what the old Medal of Man was. Yeah, but what does that do when a red rank gets a hold of Medal of Man? What are their kite times like, officer? Yeah, it's a good thing that was so unbalanced and couldn't stay in the game. They're coming for all your fucking builds, dude. So basically what they just said in this stream so far in the first 32 minutes is basically if you are a killer player, you should only be running one slowdown perk a game. That's what they want. By the end of the year, expect all of your slowdown combinations to get nerfed. That's what they just said. If you don't believe me, watch the Q&A. That's basically what they just said. They want all the slowdown perks to be good by themselves, but bad together. So you could expect that Dying Light and Pop Goes the Weasel will have synergy by the end of the year. You could expect that if Thanatophobia and Dying Light are ran together, their numbers get nerfed. You can expect all of this to happen by the end of the year. They're coming for all your fucking combinations. All of them. So basically, but again, we're still 32 minutes in, and they have not They haven't addressed one thing about survivors. They haven't said one thing about any loops, any structures, any pallet spawns, nothing. They have not addressed one thing about survivors in the first 32 minutes of this live stream. It's abysmal. And it's like, you know, you could describe this as salt. It's not salt. Like, people are just going to leave the game. They're just going to laugh at you and leave. There's a difference between salt when you play bad and just general game unbalance. This has left the realm of salt a long time ago. This is just general game unbalance that you just can't win. So it's like, fuck, dude. The Joker comes out in literally fucking, what, 5 days? Early access for Joker? Dude, I started playing Injustice long before I played Dead by Daylight, and Joker's coming to Mortal Kombat, but I'm going to keep playing this game? You think that's what I'm going to do? You think I'm going to keep doing that? Yeah, no. Like, why would we sit here and continue to play this game when the devs are not on our side? Why? When the devs aren't on our side, they're going to nerf our fucking combinations of perks. Why would we continue to play this game when other games are going to actually try to balance without their heads up their asses? They're going to say, well, what are the tournament level players doing? Oh, Johnny Cage and Garrus were getting used too much? Johnny Cage and Garrus were good? Better nerf them. You know how many times the NRS has tried to nerf Garrus? Granted, seriously, NRS has been trying to nerf Garrus since the game came out. Maybe they're bad at identifying what he's good at, or they obviously want him to stay good, so they're trying not to, like, ruin the character. If NRS wanted to ruin Garrus, they could have ruined him a long time ago. They want Garrus to be good because he's, like, their new character. I understand. They want Garrus to be good because he's one of their new characters. They want to, like, promote their story in their game. They want Garrus to be meta. I understand that. I don't want Garrus to be fucking ruined, but the point is, The point is that, like, they're obviously addressing the fact that the Garrus is unhealthy, and they're trying to tone him down to make him still a good character, but to, like, make sure that he doesn't affect the game's health. I understand that. I respect that more than, well, let's balance the game for rank 15s because it's because Hex Ruin's obnoxious to play against. Your Thanatophobia and your Dying Light and your Pop Goes the Weasel combination is obnoxious to play against. If the killer if the killer gets downs, they're just gonna win. Well, guess what? Mr. Rank 15s, if the killer's downing a bunch of rank 15s, they're gonna win the game anyway. The amount of slowdown perks that they have are not contributing to their win as much as you think they are. If they're downing people left and right, what's contributing to their win is that they're downing people left and right. At that rank, if you're odds are on Dying Light, if you're playing a good team of survivors, you could probably expect about 5 stacks. It's like 3 or 5 downs, like if that's the point where it starts helping you win, I guess. Granted, if you keep doubting people, and you take advantage of the game, then you'll start seeing its higher numbers. But like ideally for Dying Light, you should expect to see 5 stacks. So 15% is when it's going to start really helping you. Those huge numbers on Dying Light. But if you're seeing like 32%, you've won already. If you're seeing like 28% on Dying Light, you've won already. So 15% is when it starts really helping you out. But again, they don't understand any of this. Let's keep going, bruh. Fucking drink.
Trying the new Ruin and trying it with another combo. We've seen a lot of people get very creative already. So it's interesting to see where that meta will shift.
Yep.
Don't even fucking say the word meta. You're not going to balance the game for the meta. Don't say the meta. The meta right now is for Ruin to get kicked out because it's not good enough. That's the meta. The meta's already shifted. We've kicked your shitty new perk out of the meta.
Vampirox. Can you remove the notification survivor get when Ruin is active?
The hex perk system as a whole notify.
See, that's actually a decent idea. Like, if you want to make Ruin invisible, make it invisible, please.
People as soon as a hex perk has an effect that's noticeable to them. And so if we were to hide it for Ruin, it would be inconsistent with the rest of it.
It would be inconsistent with the rest of it. Yeah, but that doesn't actually matter. Who cares? Hide it.
So that's something that we probably wouldn't do.
Yeah, I mean,
they probably wouldn't do. So they're not going to do that. So that would have been an okay buff for the perk. Especially if they buffed its numbers, that would have been pretty decent. But now that's gone.
Also kind of implies, what if we didn't notify people about hexes at all?
Also, that's bullshit. That's also bullshit because when Devour Hope starts giving the killer a movement speed buff, it doesn't tell everybody that the killer gets a movement speed buff. That's a bunch of bullshit. Devour Hope. Granted, that effect is garbage, but like the fact is, like, okay, what are Devour Hope's numbers on that movement speed buff it gives killer? Is it just the same as Noed? My clown has Devour Hope. Nah, it's just Devour Hope 1. 3% haste, yeah. 3% haste. So probably 4% haste, and then 5% haste for Devour Hope 3. Does my hag have Devour Hope 3, maybe? Yeah. 5%. Yeah, so when Devour Hope has 2 tokens, it doesn't let the survivors know about the killer's 5% movement speed haste. So I guess that's not a noticeable status effect or whatever the fuck. Yeah, shut the fuck up, dude.
And I'm not so into that idea. I think we would like to give survivors information to be able
We want to give the survivors information. We want to help the survivors out. We want to give survivors information.
Yeah, and that's part of it. And the more we put on.
So this entire first 33 minutes has been nothing but killer OP, killer too good, survivors need help. That's the first 32 minutes of this.
I'm Leslie Keteman. Okay. Are you looking into changing the base generator repair?
Okay, here we go.
So we're going over like a lot of the suggestions that were.
This is the question I wanted to be asked the most on this entire live stream. So let's see what they say here.
Throwing around.
Well, we're looking at possible changes to toolboxes and how much repair bonus you get out of those.
Okay, so they're talking about toolboxes being nerfed. Okay, That's objectively good. I have nothing to say about that. They better be hard nerfs. Brand new part needs a nerf. If you're going to fucking nerf Hex Ruin, brand new part definitely has to go with it.
Nothing set in stone on those yet.
Okay.
We're looking at that. The base generator time is probably not going to increase because asking survivors to sit for, let's say, 120 seconds holding M1 if they're unmodified.
Yeah, there's already...
Okay, so let's talk about this. So they said they're probably going to nerf toolboxes. So expect toolboxes to get hit within 6 months. Or expect toolboxes to get hit within 6 months. Okay, so okay, that's fine. Brand new part won't be as dumb, and maybe just a bunch of these other add-ons will give you less of a bonus. So expect those to get hit within the next few months. Okay, so good, fine. I'll take those changes. Base generator repair times, they said, are not going up. As expected, again, did you expect anything less from these people that don't know about the game? As they said, it'd be tedious. Okay, well, go back to the suggestion I heard earlier in this video. Obviously, you can't see it right now because I'm actually live streaming. But earlier in this video, I said make generator repairs more interactive. So that way you could increase like make it like a puzzle or something. Like make it like BioShock's little, like the way BioShock, the first game, did it, where you put the thing and try to hack something. And it was like that puzzle. You could do something like that, and then you get the skill check if you fail the puzzle. But obviously, make it hard. Make it hard. Maybe like it gets harder depending on gens. But you know, you could increase base times by making it more interactive. Okay, so that way like this puzzle could take like okay, so in BioShock, like, obviously don't rip off BioShock, this is just an example. The goo, like the liquid that goes into these pipes when you're hacking the machine, you can make that take 120 seconds to fully get to the end, okay? And then, but like, okay, here's what you could do. Then if the survivor completes the puzzle, they can leave. But if the killer stomps the gen, it knocks their system out of orbit. That would be pretty damn. That'd be pretty damn interesting. It would make kicking the gen actually good because then the survivor has to come and do the puzzle all over again. Granted, it would be like way easier because like they made progress before. So this is a system I just made up. But what I'm trying to say is you can increase base generator times and make it less tedious at the same time. That way survivors have more to do. And then how about this? How about this? When they're repairing a generator, they can't see their perks. That would nerf Spine Chill. There you go. That's one way to nerf Spine Chill, is to make it so when the survivor's interacting with the generator and they're doing the mini game idea that I just had, they can't see their perks, then Spine Chill takes a hit, and then basically since they're doing a mini game, that would make Ghostface's stalk better. And make all sneaking up better. It would make gen grabbings better. I mean, they could still hear the tear radius, obviously, but like that would make stealth killers a lot better. That would buff Myers intensely. But it's like but again, that might even be a little too stupid, I guess. But you know, it's an idea I have. Make the generators more interactive, so once they're less tedious, then you have grounds for basing the gen repair time. Because this gen repair time has got to go up. If you're not going to give us, I mean, again, that would help the game's core. But again, if you don't want to do that, we need a new perk in the early game that slows down these repair times. You got to give us some new stuff. This change can be salvaged if we get a new perk that can slow down the early game generator repair speeds. Or like another thing, maybe like a perk that, how about this? For the killer, you could run a perk that you get to see your obsession's aura at the start of the game. I mean, that's a perk that would help killers early game, would not have synergy with every build in the game, but it would be a nice early game perk. Well, I can see my obsession. I'm going right over there. I'm going to start that first chase as soon as possible. It would minimize patrol time and start a chase early, potentially get a quick early down. And again, if the obsession is good and has a perk like Object or something where they're like good at kiting, it might not even guarantee an early down. It would just be a free tracking perk or like a noise notification for the obsession instantly. Something to get the killer right the fuck over there to start a chase early. That would cut down those early patrol times and then get the game started, get it out of the early game ASAP. That would help killer. Something to like, or you know, nerfing the other stuff, nerfing some of these jungle gyms, nerfing some of these huge locations, that would also help killer. But you know, I can't believe I'm getting this much out of it. I have 143 minutes of content out of 33 minutes.
You know, M1 simulator memes.
Yeah, like the length of the match it's definitely an important metric.
Yep.
And like we're definitely listening to people's feedback about like, oh, our matches this much of the time feel like they go too fast.
Matches go too fast, yes.
Why is that? What's going on? I think there are...
What's going on is you just nerf Tex Ruin. So now an average red rank game you could expect to last about 6 minutes.
Than just how long you have to sit and do a generator.
And I think the two main takeaway from the whole Ruin discussions was mainly, from the community standpoint, map size, as well as, and we have map questions later.
Map size.
As well as early game pressure.
Makes sense.
So there was a lot of concern about, like, if you take Ruin, or you change Ruin, and...
Take Ruin. Notice how she said take? Like, she's like she couldn't stop herself from saying that, but then she smiled and was like, well, change Ruin. No, you took it. You took it. You didn't change it. You took it. It doesn't do anything now. You took it.
Take away the early game pressure. So I'm extending the question to you.
Right. I think actually there are already other perks in the game that do a pretty good job of affecting the beginning of the game.
What are you talking about? I went through literally every killer. The only other one is Corrupt Intervention, and even then it's trash. What? Okay, so what? I want to hear two of them. But no, two of them besides Corrupt Intervention.
There are some other tools I think people might want to check out.
Like what? Two of them, please.
Certainly are.
Yeah.
Okay.
There are some other tools people might want to check out. Doesn't proceed to name one. He didn't even say corrupt. Like he didn't even say the lazy answer and say just write Corrupt Intervention. He just said, well, you guys should probably find them. Okay, what's your rank as killer, buddy? Since you know something we don't, what's your rank as killer? Since you're such an expert at this shit, what are your ranks as killer, guys? No? Oh, we're moving on? We're moving on already? We're moving on already. We're not going to answer that.
On the whole toolbox change and everything.
Okay, toolboxes.
I kind of answered the question already, but let's go over it.
Yeah.
Jet the Waffle Cat is asking, will toolboxes be changed in the near future?
Please, okay.
Yes, we are looking at some fundamental changes to how toolboxes work and their values. We don't have anything set in stone yet. It's things that we're working on, so we can't really talk about details at the moment.
Okay, so we got expect a toolbox nerf within 6 months.
We want to revisit, and the changes will be announced.
That's not gonna fix the game. It's not gonna fix the balancing, but like it'll make toolboxes less awful. They're still gonna be bad, but they'll just be less awful.
I'm excited.
I am too. It's.
He's excited. They're excited. These fucking schmucks, dude.
Alright. Easy 5K.
Okay.
Easy 5K.
Easy 5K is asking, are there any plans to adjust Survivor Generator perks as well?
Decent question.
Yes.
So.
Alright, so what perks should he be talking about? I guess maybe leader. Any perk that any Survivor perk that does a fucking base gen repair, I guess. Maybe they'll names drop some.
Have several Survivor Generator perks. For example, leader.
Leader.
Thyself.
Not that one.
Not that one.
That one's not that one. That one doesn't do that anymore. But yes, the rest of them, prove thyself and so on.
Definitely prove thyself.
Yes.
These are not really used a whole lot, despite being on free characters. Perks that are on free characters.
Okay, so they said they're not being used a whole lot.
And so we don't really consider them to be a problem. If you look at this is not happening in Resilience, they're also not commonly used, and they're in the.
Well, that's because being injured is a bad thing.
You need to rank up a character to have access to those. So at the moment, those will probably be staying as they are.
Okay, so they're not going to change any of those, but those aren't even good. Like, people don't run those, so.
We've been careful lately about Survivor perks that would give you too much speed on generators.
Yeah.
And I think that the majority of the feedback I've been hearing has specifically been about toolboxes. You know, I hear about
Yeah, well, yeah, because the survivors don't. The fact is, survivors don't use their fucking generator perks because all those perks are bad when you compare them to toolboxes. Toolboxes are the insanity of the game right now, and so yeah, expect a toolbox nerf within the next 6 months.
I'll put their commodious toolboxes in. And it was like, okay, we're listening about the toolboxes.
All right. Gotlos is asking if there are plans for a secondary objective.
Okay, it's not just the toolboxes. Remember, 2 survivors on a generator. This is what somebody should ask. Are there any plans to nerf the generator times of multiple survivors on one generator? Because the fact is, 44 seconds is ridiculous. I think when what they're saying by base gen times, I don't know how unbalanced the 80 seconds actually is. Because the fact is, you see gens fly when there's multiple survivors on a generator. Two is the biggest problem. 2 is the biggest problem because 3 and 4, I mean, you want to make that like 40 seconds, whatever, dude. I think it's like 35 seconds for 3 or 4 or something. The fact is that the problematic number is the fact that 2 survivors on a generator, that's 44 seconds right there. Like, at least if there's 3 survivors on a generator, they're not like spreading their resources out. But the fact is, if there's 1 survivor doing 1 generator, and the other survivors doing it in 40. Like, say somebody has, like, a toolbox. The toolbox values are all online. I don't know what those values are. Somebody has a mechanics toolbox on 1 generator. 2 survivors without toolboxes are on another generator. So the guy with the mechanics toolbox is probably, like, 65% done with his generator when the one with 2 survivors pops. So basically, already right there, the killer's chasing somebody that's giving a decent kite. They already just lost 1 in 65% of a generator. Because of the fact that there's multiple survivors on it. So base gen times doesn't necessarily mean base gen times for 1 survivor. Maybe you should make base gen times for 2 survivors be fucking, I don't know, 65 seconds instead of 44. An additional 20 fucking seconds for 2 survivors doing it. That would be a huge nerf. That would be a huge nerf. I think killers would do a lot with that. An additional 20 seconds for 2 survivors on a generator, because the fact is 44 seconds for 2 survivors is probably the most insane number in the game. That's the number that's insanity. And if they, like, I want someone to say that. I want someone to bring that up to the developers about the 44 seconds. That's the huge problem number, in my opinion.
A question.
Yes, because that's also
secondary objective now.
Yeah. You want to take that one? Oh, I see.
My idea for a secondary objective.
Terrible reading.
My idea for a secondary objective was to be to find the exit gate pieces. They have to find the exit gate pieces and then pick them up as items and bring them to the actual gate. That way, and then put them on the gate. There'd be another part where you have to fasten them on the gate and then open the gate. That was my idea. You wouldn't have to make the fastening process take super long. I mean, maybe you could. Maybe not 80 seconds. Maybe 80 seconds would be a bit silly. But that was an idea I had. It might not work because if the killer has like 2 of you dead already, that might be a bit stupid. But that was an idea I had to throw around. Maybe 10 seconds. Maybe an additional 10 seconds on the gate would be nice.
Comprehension.
No, it's a great question. So
it would also make survivors make it harder to keep their items.
In the short term, it's unlikely that you're going to see some kind of like brand new secondary objective pop up. What probably is more likely is more focus on sort of the existing side objectives that we have. The totem system, for one. You know, there's a lot of like a big spotlight actually currently, I would say, on totems with like the change to ruin.
Okay, so they said that they're going to put a bigger emphasis on the secondary objectives, like the totems, for instance. Okay, so let's talk about that. Let's go over that real fast. But first of all, it nerfs NOED. If anything you do to totems, anything you do to bring more attention to the totem system, nerfs NOED. Okay, and let's talk about stuff like inner strength. Inner strength, instead of getting rid of a negative, inner strength brings a positive to you for the totem system. Anything you do with the totems has to help the killer. It has to help the killer, not the survivors. There needs to be a negative that you're getting rid of for the totem system. You could make NOED base. That would piss survivors off. But like that, do you know how much attention that brings to the totem system if you make NOED base? But like, see, like making NOED base might be silly. But the problem is, like, what I'm trying to say is, if you're gonna do anything with these totems, it has to be like getting rid of negatives. Like, I would say, like, the idea for Hex Ruin, True Talent said for Ruin, since Ruin's not really good enough to be a perk, should be base. And I agree with that change. But that's, again, they're never going to do that. But here's the idea. You could still do something with that idea. Make the dull totems do something. Like, for every dull totem you decide to run in a match, make it have an effect. You don't have to make it, like, a super broken effect to be a Hex perk. But, like, seriously, okay, how about this? Let's look at some of these perks. perhaps a totem could assign like a random perk that you're not in your loadout with. For example, if Knockout, for instance, Knockout would be a perfect perk for this. Knockout is a decent perk that is not found in a lot of builds simply because it's not good enough. Here's what I thought. For these totem systems, okay, their idea is going to be a lot worse than mine. This is my idea. You take a bunch of mid-tier perks, and for every totem, for every hex perk you don't use, you make them all hex perks. Like, you assign, like, at the beginning of the match, you could see what your randomly assigned perks are, or you could even pick them. Because I've always said that killers deserve more perks than survivors. The fact is, like, so survivors could get away with 2 perks, honestly. If you wanted to really do this and really balance this game, a good idea might be to say, okay, survivors, you don't get 4 perks. You get 2. But like, okay, but that'd be alright, but like a better way to do it would not, because like everybody's always have 4. Let the killers have more perks, and the way that you do it is you add another bar down here right below the perks. You add like the assigned. If you're not running any hex perks, okay, you would get to assign a perk to. You have 5 of them, right? So this would give killers up to 5 more perks. The only qualifications are the perk that you're assigning to a totem cannot already be a hex perk. If you want to run a hex perk, it has to be in your main build. So what you would do is you would assign Dying Light to a totem, and like you could say like totem perks. You could assign Dying Light to a totem. It makes Dying Light in the match, but it can be cleansed and gotten rid of. This would put more emphasis on the fucking totem system while allowing killers to like maybe run some weird stuff, like apply Spies on a totem, apply Insidious on a totem. Some perks that like aren't the great, like Knockout would probably be a really great choice here. Just apply some of these perks that aren't very good enough to see play in your main builds to the totems. That would allow them to see more play and not just sit in your box. What would another another perk that would be? I'm All Ears would be great for this, because like I'm All Ears is a perk that actually is good, but I don't see a lot of killers putting it in their main builds. So you could assign it to a totem. You say, okay, I'm going to assign I am All Ears to this totem. It would put more emphasis on the totem system and allow killers to get benefits for every totem that's not fucking cleansed, instead of allowing survivors to get benefits for cleansing totems. Not that that's not an idea they shouldn't go with in the future, because like it's not that inner strength is like super bad, but the fact is, let's like, why not let killers have something? Why not assign Spirit Fury or Enduring to a totem? Why not assign fucking, what else is here? Infectious Fright would be another one that's good for this. Perks that are like decent, but like if you're running them in your main build, it's probably not that great. Bitter Murmur would be nice if they don't cleanse that totem. Like something like that. Assign these perks to a totem, and then you get to see them be used more. Because the fact is, this 4 perk slot, you have to really make every slot count. Like Overcharge is another perk that you'd assign to a hex totem. It's not good enough for the main build, but you assign it to a hex totem, you can get the benefits of it for a little bit. That's what I think they should do. That'd be super neat, actually. But again, that's my idea. That's actually good. What's their idea? What's the Dead by Daylight development team's idea? I'm sure it's way worse than mine.
Let's
see what they say.
For example, No One Escapes Death is a pretty popular and powerful perk.
Okay, they're talking about Noed.
Really encourages a totem hunt. And what we did a little while ago, right, we increased the rewards for destroying totems.
Yeah.
And I foresee perhaps more iteration on the totem system in the short term in terms of, like, what are we seeing for a secondary objective. I don't have any specifics, so as much as I would love to just like...
They don't have any specifics. Okay, so they don't have any specific ideas. Well, there's your specific idea I do. You let killers assign perks to their blank totems, but again, they can't be hex perks, so you can't just assign Hex Ruin to a hex totem. If you want to run a hex perk, it has to be within your base build. But you could assign Overcharge or Knockout to a hex totem, and then people will cleanse it. And it becomes Hex Overcharge or Hex Knockout. And then you have people running around cleansing those because they get rid of your additional perks. That would allow killers to run up maximum of like what, 9 perks a game? That because there's 5 totems. So if you assign, so that would let killers have 9 perks in a given match. Which again, a lot of these perks aren't that great, and if they're hex perks, because like again, the killers would definitely they would assign perks that aren't very good to these sections. Perks that are decent, would be there, but like Zashin Tactics is a perk that would never see play on a totem at all because it's trash. But you get these other perks, like maybe even Thrilling Tremors could be assigned to a totem. It would make it harder to discern the killer's build. That's one thing. Like survivors can clearly discern the killer's build with like within like 20 seconds if they're actually good. I've seen people do it. Oh, he has Sloppy and he's got Ruin, and then I saw him use Pop. Like they're super good at identifying what the killer's build is. So like, if you make the killer have like assigned perks to dull totems, then you got boom, dude. You have 9 perks, and it's much harder for the survivors to know what their counterplay is. It would make more power assigned to the fucking power role of this game. There's your idea. But Baldy and his old friend here they're not gonna be that smart. They're just gonna their bigger emphasis will be giving survivors more rewards. I guarantee that's what they're gonna do. That's my idea. My idea is that, but again, they're not gonna do it. They're not gonna do it. Their idea is gonna be giving survivors more rewards for cleansing the totems. That's what they'll do. I mark my fucking words, just to make survivors even stronger. That's what they'll do. How about this? How about make Dead Hard a perk you have to cleanse a totem for? You cleanse a totem, you get 1 Dead Hard. There you go.
All about totems live here on Twitch.
Don't make a perk though. Here's what they'll do. They'll make a perk that says if you cleanse a totem, you're not exhausted. Like the next time you use an exhaustion perk, you won't become exhausted. That's what they'll do. Or something stupid like that. They'll fuck with the exhaustion.
Guys,
let's
we'll have
not
to
if we
move
don't
on.
have a final plan.
Yeah, let's move on to the next thing. It's just like we're thinking about it.
Because it's always dangerous. We tried in the past.
That's what they'll do. They'll mark my words. They'll do something like that.
And then we realized it was even harder.
Little breaks my heart more than talking about something really awesome, and then it's interpreted as a promise, and then it can't happen, and then everybody feels bad.
Yeah. So,
let's see what they can say now.
No idea which name it is, so I'm sorry. I'm pretty sure it's going to be on the screen. Are you looking to improve some of the weaker perks as well?
Okay.
Yes.
It's a BS.
BS.
Beast K777.
Yeah.
But there was a second name, so I was
yes.
Okay, so buffing weaker perks.
Surprise me if many people wrote in say, hey, what about all of these perks that I have in my list and I never use them because I don't see the use of them? So we heard.
We have a list of several low use.
But again, a lot of these perks, it's not that they're bad, it's just that they're not meta. I'm All Ears isn't necessarily a bad perk, it's just not meta. I guarantee, if you do my idea and let killers assign 5 more perks to a Hex Totem, you let killers assign 5 more perks to a Dull Totem, you start seeing stuff like I'm All Ears, Overcharge, Infectious Fright, all that Dark Devotion, a lot of that gimmicky stuff. A lot of that stuff that is actually really neat. It's really neat, but the fact is, it's not meta. What you do, this game has no room for experimentation at the top level. You see God tiers do it, like the top 1% of killers, like True and Oats. They can do it. They can experiment. But the fact is, us people that are like just hanging on and we're getting more affected by the game's core balancing problems. You don't see us straying too far from what the meta is, because we can't. We have no room for experimentation, no room for gimmicks. If you allow killers 5 more perk slots by assigning perks to Hex Totems, assigning perks to Dull Totems, it would fucking allow usage of, like, it would allow, you know, more experimentation, more gimmicks, more room for stuff like Dark Devotion, more room for stuff like Thrilling Tremors, more room for, like, honestly, a lot of this stuff. Fucking, like, okay, here's the thing. Like, doctors, even some of these bad perks, like Overwhelming Presence that get rid of item usage faster, super bad perks, right? But they're bad because there's 4 perk slots. Maybe if you buffed Overwhelming Presence, it could have, you could buff Overwhelming Presence and then put Overwhelming Presence and Distressing on a fucking Dull Totem, and then that could really be stupid for getting rid of items super fast. Wouldn't be meta, but then it doesn't have to because it's on a totem and it can be gotten rid of. You could put even something like, and like another thing that would do is that would nerf SWF, because when a survivor team comes in with 4 flashlights, somebody that has Lightborn on their perks, on like, they go, okay, I'm gonna move Lightborn to my main build because there's 4 people coming in with flashlights. But I don't have to lose Franklin's Demise. I'm going to move Franklin's Demise down to my totem, my perks that are assigned to totems. So I move Lightborn up in priority. I move Franklin's Demise down in priority. Do you see what I'm saying with this shit? It would be a very interactive way for killers to like decide what's being more prioritized in here. And again, you get to see stuff like even some of these shitty perks could like start seeing play. Like fucking all of Huntress's perks suck, right? Like fucking Territorial Imperative. Like for the basement, okay, that one probably would never see play because that's actually really bad. Enter the basement, yeah, it's bad. But Beast of Prey, you get blood, you gain undetectable when you hit Bloodlust. If you could assign that to a totem, it might see more play than it is now. Play with your food would be good to assign to a totem. Even something gimmicky like Monstrous Shrine, you could assign to a totem. If you buffed its numbers a little bit, I think Monstrous Shrine should be applied to every hook, not just the, seriously, if they buffed I don't think I have Monstrous Shrine anybody on, like, number 3. Level 3, do I have Monstrous Shrine level 3 on anybody? I actually don't know if I do. Let's go to Leatherface. He's 50. Monstrous Shrine, dude. I try to avoid that when I can, so I don't know if I'll have it. Oh, there it is. 9% faster energy progress. Okay, so here's what you do. You buff Monstrous Shrine, so it's like... Here's what you do. You flip the 15 and the 9. 15% faster sacrifice progress on hooks. Okay. And you throw that on a fucking totem. So it's not in your main build, and like even again, Monstrous Shrine is a perk. You buff those numbers, and then apply it to every single hook in the game. Because this only applies to basement hooks right now. If they flipped it to 15% faster, it might be a really good side perk. It wouldn't be a good main perk in your main build, but it might be a good side perk to throw on a totem. Every one of the totems should be doing something. The concept of a dull totem, I think, is outdated. Every totem should be doing something. And again, it's balanced. It's not OP that a killer would get 9 perks and a survivor would only get 4. I don't think that's an unbalanced thing. Especially because all the totems can be cleansed and then that perk goes bye-bye. So it's not even that, of course, don't get me wrong, but with how survivors play this game, 2 of these perks are going to get cleansed in the first 2 seconds of the match. Let's not fucking kid each other. We know how high ranks work. 2 of the perks that you slide in on your sides are going to get cleansed in the first 2 seconds. So, like, every game will be different for killer. Like, yeah, another perk. Iron Maiden would be a good perk to throw on a side perk. It's like, okay, we'll see if we'll check if they're using lockers by chucking Iron Maiden on our side build. It would be interesting, dude. Then something like Agitation wouldn't be useless either. There's like nobody runs Agitation because it's fucking trash. It's fucking trash in the concept of a main build. But if you throw Agitation down on your side build, it's like, okay, now I have Agitation on my side build because it's like 9% faster. And like here, and what you could do is like this. Like, let's say somebody brings a fucking what's it called? The fucking grandma's cookbook. For the first 30 seconds of the game, you could let killers choose you could let killers make a switch because to accommodate these bad map designs. Oh, you brought me to fucking Grim Pantry. Let me slide Agitation back into the main build real fast because you brought me here. Or you could just nerf the maps and you could just make more hooks spawn and more Gucci. But you know they're not gonna do that. But again, you slide Agitation in on the side perks, so that like you can't get gimmicked by somebody who just goes to the same spot. There's a spot on fucking the Rancid Abattoir where a killer legitimately doesn't have enough time. It's right outside the window. No, it's inside the window right before you vault. When you're in the farm, there's a spot. Even if the basement spawns there, because of the railing, you don't have enough time to get to a hook. Legitimately do not have enough time. I played a game on the Switch where I had 3 survivors down at that one spot at the same time because they just camped it. When they were in disadvantage, they sat there because all these survivors were red rag. They fucking camped this spot because they knew I couldn't get to a hook. And it was such a stupid game. Granted, they got cocky and like I forget why I managed to hook somebody. Somebody moved. I think they were done with the game, so they just fucking let me hook them. But like, it was so dumb because they just sat there because they all let themselves get down at the same spot because I had them at disadvantage. So they ran to this spot and they couldn't get hooked. If I had agitation on a totem or something, I could have fucking made those hooks. Or iron grasp. There's something you could do right there. But again, behavior is not smart, so they're not going to do any of this. They're going to look at, they would look at the idea and say, well, it's not really fair for the killers to get so much passive reward. That's what they'd fucking say. Because passive reward is somehow a bad thing in this game for killers.
I have the list with me right here.
So Pebble, I'm the only one apparently using it. So there's one person. No.
Your usage by itself has skewed the stats so much.
Yeah,
it's like
stop making shitty jokes, guys.
Yeah, so we'll never change it because as long as you keep using it, it's high use.
But she will never unequip it.
So here are some perks that we plan to hit soon.
Okay, so here are some perks they're planning to buff. I guarantee you 60% of these are survivor perks.
Small game, cruel limits, any means necessary, slippery meat, vigil, this is not happening, and technician.
All those are survivor perks with the exception of like 2. Okay, so let's go back and hear that list again. I told you, most of these are survivor perks.
So here are some perks that we plan to hit soon that are low usage. Small game.
Small game is a survivor perk.
Cruel limits.
Cruel limits is a Demogorgon perk that's trash. Let's look at that perk. Yeah, I'll even give them some ideas, bro. So they. Cruel limits, where is it? I don't even fucking have it equipped, dude. It's so bad. I don't even think did I bother to level it up? Why don't you buff Mindbreaker? Mindbreaker's terrible. I guess I did level it up. There it is. Cruel limits. Okay. Oh, when let's talk about why this perk is garbage. This perk is garbage because it pops within the generator. That does nothing. Cruel limits needs to. The only buff you need to give cruel limits is that it needs to happen within a 24-meter radius of the killer. Make this perk work off the killer's tear radius, and it's actually pretty damn good. Blocking all vaulting locations within the killer's tear radius. It wouldn't be good on everybody, and it wouldn't have synergy with everything in the game. It wouldn't be stupid. If you make it work off the killer's tear radius, it would block some of those vaults at the killer shack, jungle gyms, some of them broken windows, at some of the bigger, like it would help with these awful map design. It's potentially a buffed bamboozle if you do it right. Bamboozle, another perk you could slide into your side section. Because it's a perk that's good, but it's not good enough to see enough play. But like, there you go, cruel limits right there. That's how you buff cruel limits. That's what I get. So that's the only killer perk that I heard.
Any means necessary.
Any means necessary is a survivor perk.
Slippery meat.
Slippery meat is a survivor perk.
Vigil.
Vigil is a survivor perk.
This is not happening.
This is not happening as a survivor perk.
Technician.
Technician. So there's your ratio, dude. They're buffing one killer perk for every like 7 survivor perks that they buff. So there you go, right there. They don't care about these terrible killer perks that don't do anything. They named one killer perk. What about Hangman's Trick? This perk is useless. How about you fucking buff this perk? Nobody fucking runs this.
Oh.
All of these are things that you would like to get some updates.
My question was, can you name one? So I'm happy to hear all of those.
So you've got several there.
There you go.
Only one killer perk though, bro.
I went pretty fast. Clip it.
Yeah. Alright, so Luca Garden is asking, will commonly used survivor perk receive the same treatment?
There you go. Okay, interesting. Interestingly enough, this is another question that I wanted them to ask. What about the 85% usage of Dead Hard and Decisive Strike and Borrowed Time? What do we got here?
We all know those. Decisive Strike, Borrowed Time, Adrenaline. I'm surprised this person didn't put Self-Care there.
Oh, that's true.
Because self-care isn't really used at the high ranks. Self-care is a mid-rank perk. I still run it because I like that extra protection, but like, not every red rank player runs self-care. Self-care is not a perk that is used like as much as you'd think. Once you get comfortable with this game, and like a lot of survivors will like swap in medkits instead. They'll bring a medkit with like a ton of charges on it because it's faster than self-care. Self-care is honestly too slow at top ranks.
Self-care, actually the most used survivor perk.
I bet it is. Like, okay, he says self-care is the most used survivor perk. I bet self-care is the most used survivor perk. Because again, at top level is when the perk becomes too slow. At the mid-level, it's like, okay. At the mid-level, it's actually really nice. I bet it is the most used survivor perk. So,
Even after, like,
even after all the stuff that happened.
Yeah, it sticks way off the edge of the graph in terms of usage. Some of these survivor perks, while they are quite common, were not used nearly as much as Ruin or Self-Care.
Okay.
Decisive Strike already got a serious cutback, so we're not actually that worried about its power at the moment.
Okay, they're not going to nerf Decisive Strike. I am not against the Decisive Strike nerf. I think Decisive Strike 3 can be a bit silly in, like, some games, but, like, I've gotten Decisive Strike I have been Decisive Strike before when I didn't deserve it. I think the final change you need to make to Decisive Strike before it's a fixed perk entirely is that once somebody is hooked, your timer instantly goes away. That is what I would do to it, but I'm not going to complain if they don't change it.
We do know, like we've heard and we understand the concerns, mainly the one about how if we're considering it to be an anti-tunneling tool, why is it that if they go off and do something, they still have a timer? We heard about it?
We have heard that. We are reading the forums, we see those discussions, and we're considering that internally.
Okay, so they said that they're actually considering to do that. So, interesting. They probably won't, they probably just do that to shut us up, but you know.
But if you consider Borrowed Time and Adrenaline, they don't stick out as far in terms of usage as Ruin did.
But they're not giving us any actual numbers.
You consider Decisive Strike, Adrenaline, and Borrowed Time, Life is actually used more than all three of those.
Really?
So...
well, nerf Life then.
Yes,
I think you're telling me lies.
Yeah, I need to remind you guys that the game is on multiple platforms. The meta might not be exactly the same on each platform at each level.
Okay, but let's talk about Life. Life is not a bad perk. Like, they're laughing at Life. Like, Life is some kind of garbage perk. Life is garbage. Life isn't garbage at all. Life is actually very good. And it's easy to see why people would run Life more than something like Balanced Landing. Because Life you can actually use more consistently than something like Balanced Landing. It's like, if somebody gets Shelter Woods, there's like, the only spot you can use Balanced Landing at in Shelter Woods is the Killer Shack, using it on the stairs. Like, Life's consistency level is not bad at all. It's not bad. Like, Life isn't a bad perk. Life could debatably use a tone down too, bro.
That's true.
And when you're looking at Light, well, Light is on a character that is free on console as well. So by definition, if it's a free perk, we might see a little bit more as well.
Yep, that is true.
Okay, so Hag is free on like a majority. You're forgetting this. If you're going to talk about free perks, Hag is free on a majority of the uploads now. That might have something to do with the Ruin's usage rate, wouldn't it? If you're going to apply that to one side, you can't just apply it to the other. Saying Fei Min is free on a lot of these. Okay, Hag's free on a lot of systems as well. Plus, I thought Hag was like, but I thought Fei Min came with the Doctor. So I thought anything that Hag and anything that like Doctor is on, Hag is free on too, right? So like maybe the fact that Hag is free on a majority of the releases of this game now, maybe that has something to do with the Hex Ruin usage rate.
Nothing will ever happen to these perks.
That's right.
It just means that it's not getting hit by the same initiative that Hex Ruin did.
No, Ruin just stuck out way too far.
Ruin stuck up way too far because it was a necessary perk. That's why. And also, let's talk about another reason Ruin may have stuck out so far, where exhaustion perks may not have. You see something like Dead Hard? The thing is, Dead Hard, Balanced Landing, Sprint Burst, Light, these things never had a monopoly over the objective they were trying to do, which was Kite the Killer. Hex Ruin did. Hex Ruin had a monopoly over the objective it was accomplishing. That is another reason why its usage rate was so fucking high. It had a monopoly over it. Corrupt Intervention didn't compete nearly as much as it should have to be a viable option. The fact is, Balanced Landing, Sprint Burst, Light, Dead Hard, these are all viable perks. All of these perks are good for kiting the killer. All of them. All of them, if used correctly, are a pain in the ass to deal with at any rank in this game. So, you see, so like, possibly what they're saying here is, okay, Ruin was probably using 85% of the matches at the red ranks. Dead Hard was probably using about 60. Sprint Burst was probably using about 40, and then the others, and then Light and Balanced Landing are probably using about 50. That's probably what those statistics are, because they're saying it stuck out way more. That's probably right. But the thing is, when you have 4 options like that, and you're seeing Dead Hard used more than the other ones like that, which is probably what I'm guessing their results look like, what does that tell you? The fact that Ruin was used so much is because of its hardcore monopoly over the objective. Which, again, that guy said there's a bunch of new stuff you could try, but he didn't name one thing. He didn't even take the lazy way out and say corrupt intervention. The fact is, these people don't know about the early game and how bad it is for killer. Hex Ruin's Monopoly is why it was seen so much. I hated that perk. I miss it already. I mean, I've only played on Switch, but I've been winning a majority of my games still. But I still miss the fucking perk, dude. It's horrible that it got taken the way that it did, and the fact that there was now nothing to deal with early game. We have now forced on a late game setup. How lame does that mean at the late game? We're basically hostage dock as one of your best options now. Awful. But that's why Hex Ruin stuck out more than them. These people don't look at their data and think about why. They look at their data, they see Ruin's 85%, they say Ruin has to go. They don't think about why this stuff is happening. They don't think about why their data is the way it is. They look at their data and they just get rid of stuff that they think is used too much. That's what they do. So that's why Dead Hard and why all these perks don't have a monopoly over the thing they're trying to do. If somebody gets really good at life, why would they spend money on David if they're tight on money? If someone's good at life, likes life, why spend money on all these characters to get other perks? Like, there's a reason for that. But, you know, that's what they just said is going to fool all their bad players, so they're not actually going to fucking know anything. 41 minutes, dude. Jesus.
And self-care sticks out as much as Ruin did.
But it's not as problematic.
But it's not causing problems in the game.
Self-care sticks out just as much as Ruin did. Oh, really? It's not causing problems? What the hell you... Well, I mean, that's because it's not that great. It's good, it's not great. It's not causing any problems. But, I mean, Ruin wasn't causing problems either at the red ranks. It was causing problems for casual schmucks that were bad at the game anyway. And guess what? Those same people that are glad it's gone are still losing the game right now as we speak. They're still losing. Because they're bad. Demogorgon, you need to probably shut up. Myers doesn't talk.
Alright. Sonzai Shinai?
Sonzai Shinai.
Thank you. I have no idea.
That was very good.
Hex Totems get some more. No, they're going to say no to this.
Of respawn mechanic.
Respawn mechanic for Hex Totems, they're going to say no to this.
Right. That's pretty unlikely. The concept behind Hex Totems is that they have huge punch. Like if you look at Devour Hope, this thing lets you mori people.
Yep.
If you get 5 stacks, that's useless.
Totems could come back if they were easier to keep. Then the power level on those corresponding perks would have to go down to compensate.
Right.
And we like them being punchy.
Okay. And
they like them being punchy. Okay. They like them being punchy, but just not too punchy. If they're too punchy, they'll nerf them. Fucking kiss my ass, dude.
Breaks your totem, and as a killer, you take some time to go and set it back up somewhere on another.
It would have to be quite a lot of time to make it worth the amount of power you can get out of Hex perks.
Like, one day there's the killer version of Any Means Necessary, where you sit down and you put your totem back together piece by piece. It takes you a minute, and then you take out your little lighter and you turn the light back on.
It's horrible, bro.
I don't know. Never say never, but it's not in the cards at the moment.
Okay.
Okay, so no, they said no to that.
Ramen is asking, will there be other generator slowdown perks in the
Okay, I wanted them to ask this question too.
It's possible that we'll make more of these. This is kind of a long answer. I'm going to have to read this one, sorry. However, we will be very careful about how they interact with others. We don't want sets of 4 perks that are slowdown to be meta anymore. For example...
Okay, they just said they do not want sets of 4 slowdown perks to be meta at any point. So like I said when I gave my huge psychopathic rant earlier, they're coming for your combinations. They don't want the combinations to be good at all. They're going to get rid of every combination of perks that are good for slowdown in this game. So expect that True Talent Ghost Space build to get hit in the near future.
Examples, New Ruin doesn't have terrific synergy with Pop Goes the Weasel.
They already said this, bro. They're coming for all of your synergy. That's what they're saying.
Provides value at a time. So going forward, we might find other interesting ways to have generator slowdown perks, but we don't want these easy blanket things that can all synergize to make super slowdown builds.
Yeah.
They don't want super slowdown builds. So get ready for all of your super slowdown builds to get hit. They're coming for all of them, dude. They're coming for every single one of them. Where do I have a massive slowdown? I don't know. But like they're coming for all of your They're coming for all of your slowdown synergy. They're coming for all of it. They're getting rid of all of your slowdown synergy because they hate killers. Because the casual survivors think slowdown synergy is broken because they don't understand that it's just fucking gotten rid of by kiting.
Ideally, it would, like, there are other things we'd like to see people doing. If the only thing people are ever doing is slowing generators, that's a problem. Ideally, we should see people bring in lots of different types of loadouts.
Okay, he actually just said something I agree with. The fucking bald guy said that if people are only bringing slowdown synergy perks, that demonstrates a problem with the game. Okay, let's talk about what. Yeah, I agree with that. But the problem with what he just said is that they're talking about nerfing slowdown synergy because that's not what you should be bringing perks for. But however, the problem with this game right now is that the generators are going too fast. They fly. They fly too fast. So, if you want to nerf slowdown synergy, you have to address the issue of why slowdown synergy exists. Nerfing slowdown synergy without addressing the issue and just saying, nah, we're not considering slowing down generator times at all, because it would be tedious for survivors. That's what they just said. It would be tedious for survivors if generators were slowed down, which is the biggest issue with this game right now, that generators are too fast. They're going to nerf slowdown synergy because they don't want to see it. They don't like slowdown synergy. They're getting rid of all of your synergy, all of it. So, expect all your synergy to be gone by the end of this year. So, basically what's going on here is that they're not going to address why slowdown synergy exists, and they're just going to nerf slowdown synergy. So expect other generator, all generator repair synergy that you guys are coming up with to get hit within the end of the year. Don't expect generator repair times and gen rushing to get hit, but expect your slowdown for it to get hit. Now again, this would all be fine if the locations that the survivors had to kite was not broken. But the fact is, Disturbed Ward's broken, granted the swamp maps are busted, the maps are too big, there's stuff that makes slowdown synergy meta. There's stuff that makes it exist the way that it does. So if you want to nerf slowdown synergy without fixing generator repair times, you have to nerf the locations. You don't just get to keep everything. And if you do, killer players go bye-bye. You gotta get rid of some of these locations. You gotta get rid of the amount of fucking unmine-gameable pallets. Every location in this game should have a mine game to it, with the exception of maybe one per map. And I mean like one window on every map that can't be mine gamed. Every structure in this game should be, if the killer plays good, he gets rewarded. If the survivor plays good, they get rewarded. There should not be a structure, any structure at all, in this game that is, the survivor gets to it, you have to leave them. The survivor gets to it, so if you keep chasing them, you lose. There should not be any structure in the game like that. And if the structures like that continue to exist, slowdown synergy will continue to be meta for killer. If you want to make chasing survivors a viable option in this game, then you can start nerfing slowdown synergy. But right now, chasing survivors is not viable. They are too strong. If you want to nerf slowdown synergy, you have to make chasing viable. Until you do that, slowdown synergy will continue to be broken.
There's some fun stuff you can do with perks.
Yep. Alright. So, let's jump to Dr. Update.
Okay, that seems to be everything that they're going to go over in terms of Ruin. So basically what they told us in the last 43 minutes is that killers are obnoxious to play against. Killers have obnoxious generator synergy builds that are going to get rid of. No mention of kiting, no mention of locations, no mention of why Ruin was used in 85% of the games. Just confirmation that Ruin was being used too much. They don't like that, so they got rid of it. And, they're not going to nerf any of the other perks because they're not going to nerf any survivor exhaustion perks because they're not too high in usage. But because the exhaustion perks feed into each other, that's what they help each other stay at healthy usage rates because they're all good. So they all help each other stay at healthy usage rates that the devs don't like. Ruin didn't have that type of help. That's why Ruin was used so much. But basically, no mention of survivors. Again, I'm going to keep going here. No mention of survivors and how strong they are in the first 44 minutes of this stream at the Red Ranks. The closest we got was that they powered through Ruin. No mention of Red Rank survivors and how strong they are in the first 44 minutes here. None. Only that killers are obnoxious and that killers have too much stuff and killers can have annoying builds that make the game less fun. That's what we were told in the first 44 minutes here. So we're moving on to Doctor.
Questions as well.
Yes.
So the whole early game thing, we don't really have a final answer on that. You know, that feedback from the community.
Well,
so they don't have an answer, is what they're saying.
In the first couple minutes, let's say the first 2 or 3 minutes, 2 gens to be done. Maybe that's sort of normal, especially on a larger map like Temple of Purgation. The intention was never for a killer to be able to keep all 5 generators up for the first 4 minutes.
The intention of them was to never let killers keep all 4 generators up for the first 5 minutes. That shouldn't be your intention. The fact is that they're flying in 2, 3. The fact is, the problem with the game right now is in 5 minutes the exit gates are powered. That's the problem. It's not that the killer can't keep... I never wanted to, like... If I never wanted to be so OP that I could keep all 5 gens up. The problem is that in 5 minutes the exit gates are powered. That's the problem.
It's just not what it was intended in the gameplay. So if you're having trouble on a map like Temple of Purgation, you see 2 generators way out there, maybe just let them go and protect the other 5.
Well, congratulations. You said something about basic killer patrolling and the basic idea behind killer patrolling. Every red rank killer understands patrolling and when you have to let a generator go. We all understand that. We all understand that shit. The problem is that, again, in 5 minutes, it's not that 2 gens are done in 5 minutes, it's that the gates are powered. It's that the endgame collapse has started in 5 minutes. That's the problem.
Yeah, it's a strat. I know, there are some great killers out there producing content that may have some good tips.
That's true.
Check them out. We've got great ones. Some of them are fog whisperers.
Some of them.
Yes. All right.
Okay, we got great killers out there producing content. Yeah, the top 1%.
Change the subject. Sure. The doctor.
Yeah. So they're changing the subject. They don't have any answer. They just say be as good as True and Oatsvara. That's their solution. Be as good as them. If you're not as good as them, you just suck and you can't compete. So fuck you. That's what they just said there.
Asking, why does Snap
just get good. Apply pressure, idiot. That's what they just said. Apply pressure. Apply correct pressure, idiot. Don't be stupid. That's what they just said. Again, very condescending. Condescension towards killer players. Very condescending. Get good, idiot. Apply pressure. You're just not doing it good enough. Idiot. You get good, idiot. You suck. Apply better pressure.
It reduce you to -1 now.
When we were doing our tests with the static blast that guarantees a tier up, you would blast somebody, they'd be in tier 1. You blast them, they'd be in tier 2. Blast them, they're in tier 3.
Yeah.
They're talking about Doctor now.
You hit them once more, they're back in tier 3.
Why is snapping out of reduce you to Madness 1? Because Madness was smoothened out.
And the time span we're gonna go.
This is like they're basically addressing casual questions now. Any chance that snap out of it can be considered healing? Okay, this is actually an interesting question. Let's see what this is.
Snapping out of it.
Healing again.
Okay, this is actually interesting. I'll let this one play.
If something is considered healing for the purposes of one perk, for example, Nurse's Calling, so people with Nurse's Calling would see you snapping out of it, then it's considered a healing action for all perks. And now Botany Knowledge allows you to slow it up. It can be slowed down by Sloppy Butcher.
Speed it up, slow it down.
It can be slowed down by Coulrophobia.
Yeah.
A lot. So,
oh yeah, because Chlorophobia is such a good perk. You see where their heads are at? Can I just say that again? They just mentioned Chlorophobia as being an option to slow down healing. That's where they're at. This Chlorophobia is one of the worst perks in this fucking game. Nobody fucking runs that shit.
Would be
it's 50%, right? Yeah. So
I think one of the catalysts to having us reclassify a whole bunch of things to not be healing was the introduction of Chlorphobias. Well, sorry, no, the introduction of mending. When Legion came out, and we were like, because mending is a lot like healing.
Yep.
I think mending is closer to healing than snap out of it is.
Oh
yeah. Yeah.
So if we call these like healing adjacent kind of things, they like feel a lot like healing. And I think we all had in our hearts the desire to let them be healing. It felt good. But the ramifications were not good, especially with stuff like Chlorophobia. Imagine you're Legion and you're like...
Chlorophobia! They're mentioning Chlorophobia again as being good. Like, they don't know what they're doing, everybody! They have never played at the red ranks in their fucking lives! Chlorophobia! Chlorophobia can affect mending times. Because nobody runs Chlorophobia! It sucks! It's only in trash gimmick builds. Because it's horrible. Chlorophobia?
Mending is a healing.
Chlorophobia?
Healing's gonna take twice as long if I'm nearby.
Chlorophobia is still good.
That was going to be the meta. You'd never take this perk off. And so it actually had to step back and take a look at the whole white.
Yeah, because Chlorophobia's usage rates are so high at the red ranks right now.
One thing. So now that would allow us the freedom to create things that affect healing time without sort of unreasonably having knock-on effects on all kinds of other stuff.
Yeah.
But how good would that actually be, though? It's like they don't like that design, but would that actually be good? Probably not.
Actually, about the snap out of it priority. So Colonel Zilla is asking, why does snap out of it take priority over mending? And that's a feedback we received a lot.
Yep.
Minus snap out of it take priority over mending. So if you're tier 3, you have to snap out of it before you can mend. So that actually it wouldn't be terrible, but the thing about it is the situations where that happens are so situational that I'm answering these questions for these people at this point. Can a Survivor's Madness tier be made more clear to the killer? If you're not a potato, you can fucking know. You can fucking know what tier they're at. These are all casuals asking these questions. Why was exhaustion removed from the Doctor's Downs? Because then they couldn't use their exhaustion perks, and that would be too good. They didn't like it. Adding a cooldown to shock. So there is no cooldown to shock therapy. Totem spawns will be revisited. Hardest part is update. Hook tech. Who cares, dude? Killers will be okay. They're okay, that's pretty much it. That's pretty much it. I don't want to go. I don't want to do this any more than I have to. That's the deal. That's what. So the biggest questions we had about this change were regarding the ruin changes, and as you clearly see, they didn't address them. Yeah, the dev stream was terrible, dude. The dev stream was awful. They didn't address anything important. They basically just said. They said killers are obnoxious. They're coming for all your fucking perk synergy. Don't forget that, my friend. They're coming for all your fucking perk synergy. All of it. They want all of it gone. They want all of your synergy in terms of generator repair speeds to be gone. Because they hate it. They don't like it. They said that if people are running generator slowdown, that's it. That shouldn't exist. But yeah, they're avoiding the real problem with the game, which is that generators are going too fast. They just said we're not gonna fucking change that, but we're getting rid of all your fucking perk synergy. The locations weren't mentioned once. Disturbed ward not mentioned once. They don't want anything. They didn't mention anything about survivors. They just said killers can create obnoxious builds via slowdown synergy, and Hex Ruin was obnoxious to play. Yes, I hated that word that they used. And then they just said the intention was never for killers to keep all 5 gens up, learn how to pressure, you noob, and then they moved on. That's what they said. That was a summary of the first 42 minutes of the stream before they started talking about Doctor. Which again, I'm not going into the Doctor changes. I don't care. I don't care that much. He's still a bad killer, so there's no point in even talking about it. No point in talking about it at all. He's still a bad killer. So basically they just said learn how to apply pressure, scrub. We're coming for all your fucking perk synergy by the end of the year. They're gonna slightly tone down toolboxes, and that's it. That's basically what was it. Expect toolboxes to get nerfed in the next 6 months. And by the end of the year, expect all of your slowdown synergy to be gone. As killer, you can expect all your slowdown synergy to be gone. Dead. But they're not going to nerf generator repair speeds, which they should. They should at least nerf it on 2 survivors being 44 seconds. That's ridiculous. Yeah, they didn't. That's what I said. I laughed at that too. I laughed at that too, my friend. And I said, they didn't even take the easy way out. They didn't even mention corrupt intervention. He didn't even mention corrupt intervention. He could have taken the lazy way out and said corrupt intervention. He just said, there's a bunch of early game strategies to try. Nothing. And okay, I've repeated this point in my stream. I want you to hear it because you're an audience member. They were talking about how Ruin was using 85% of the games and the other exhaustion yeah, corrupt is terrible. But he didn't even take the lazy way out and mention it though. But he was talking about how the exhaustion perks do not have the same usage rate that Ruin did. I was thinking about this, and we're going to talk about why. Because the exhaustion perks help each other stay at a healthy usage rate. They're all good, so that's the thing. They're all good. Corrupt intervention was terrible, so nobody ran it. It was Ruin had a monopoly over early game slowdown. That's why it was used in 85% of the matches. Dead Hard doesn't have a monopoly over chase times. Dead Hard, Balanced, Life, fucking Sprint Burst, they're all good. They're all good. You can literally use them all. So they help each other stay at relatively healthy usage rates, so you can't tell that these perks are stupid. You can't tell Dead Hard is an unhealthy perk because its usage rates are not as high, as good as the other ones. And like, okay, let's talk about why Dead Hard is unhealthy. I now think Dead Hard needs a tweak because Dead Hard being used to dodge a killer's swing, that's one thing. That's one thing. Yes. If they were putting those pools together, what they should do there, the correct thing to do there is to put those pools of numbers together. If you were to say, well, how many survivors are using perks that cause exhaustion? I guarantee you it's more than the Ruin usage rate. I guarantee it is, or at least on par with it. The fact is that these perks help each other stay at a healthy usage rate. But Ruin had nothing else like that. If there were 4 viable early game stall perks, Ruin wouldn't have an 85% usage rate. In fact, I guarantee you if there were 4 viable early game slowdown perks, Ruin would be the least used. The old Ruin would be the least used out of all of them. Because of how bad it was. They didn't talk about keys at all, dude. They didn't talk about anything Survivor related. The last thing that they said regarding the early game was fucking get good, noob. All they said about decisive and borrowed time. They said one thing about decisive is that they said that they acknowledged the fact that it was being used for, or it was still being used for more than anti-tunneling. They acknowledged that. They didn't say one thing about borrowed time. Keys are broken. But it's like, I mean, keys being broken is like, you know, whatever. Like that's not like if we had a tournament, keys would be banned, and so would Mori's. But like so it's like, you know, they're broken, but you know what? Like the devs aren't going to take them out. The devs aren't going to take out the keys. Nothing you can do about it. So I've watched basically the entire thing at this point. It was horrible, dude. Absolutely awful development stream. They did not answer anything important. They basically said, okay, we're not going to nerf base gen times because it would be too tedious. They were too tedious. That's what they said. It'd be too tedious for a Survivor player to sit there. But so like that's all they cared about. Like what's good for survivors? It doesn't matter that the health of the game is in serious question right now. Because of the fact that the gen times, I said make the gen times more interactive. Make it do something other than skill checks. Create a mini game or something that would help nerf the speed but make it more interactive. Something like that. But the problem is with the game right now. There's no fucking early game slowdown. And there's like the guy said it was never the intention for like the killers to keep all 5 gens up the entire game. But it's like, okay. It was never intention for the killer to keep the gens up though. But the problem is, like he said, the killer should not keep 5 gens up for 5 minutes. The problem with this game is not the fact that the killer should have a 5 gen. The problem with the game is that in 5 minutes, the endgame collapse has started. That's the problem. If the survivors are winning in 5 minutes, the endgame collapse has started. A gate's open. That's the problem. The gens are done and the exit gate's being powered if the survivors are winning. That's the problem. And guess what? The only thing they're gonna do is come for your synergy. And they're coming for your fucking synergy. That's literally it. They're coming for your synergy. They're gonna nerf toolboxes a tiny bit. Learn how to pressure noob, get good. And they basically said we're not gonna fucking... They even said that they're not gonna fucking add a new early game gen perk. They essentially said that. They said we're gonna be really careful. Because like, and they're gonna be really careful. Here's what you do. Here's an idea I had for Dying Light. Yeah. Here is what they should do with Dying Light. Oh, before I talk about Dying Light, they also mentioned that Ruin. One of their ideas was to have Ruin nerf base gen times. Do you remember that? They said we're gonna have Ruin. One of our ideas was to have when Ruin's up, their base gen times are nerfed. That would have been a great idea. Why didn't they put that in the PTB? Why didn't they put that in the PTB? They said they tested it and they thought it was too good. Bullshit. Bullshit. They're bad at the game. They should have put that in the PTB and see how it played out. They just said, "Oh, we thought it was too good." Well, they also thought that They also said that chlorophobia was a good perk. So what the fuck do they know? I like, what the fuck do they fucking know about fucking this game? Like, that's what I want to know. What do they know, dude? What do they fucking know? I'm not done ranting yet, dude. I wanted to talk about Dying Light. Yeah, they ranked 15 to 20, so of course they think Ruin's OP. Here's what they need to do, dude. Here's what they need to do with Dying Light. I have a solution for Dying Light. Make Dying Light the inverse of what it does right now. First of all, yeah, you take Dying Light as not an obsession perk, and then what you do with Dying Light is you start the game, it has 9 tokens, and it has its maximum effect. Every time, or maybe you can even nerf the numbers a little bit, and then every time you down somebody and hook somebody, a token goes away. So it becomes easier to do a generator. It would be a better perk than it is right now if it did that, because it would help the early game. If that perk died in the late game, it would be better. Maybe, again, you could even probably nerf its numbers a little bit if you did that. You just need to make the early game not suck ass. Yeah, there was a comment that said stop balancing the game for kids. It's awful. It's awful, dude. The way that they balance this game is legit fucking terrible. Okay. I think, what time is it, bro? I've been sitting here for 2.5 hours just fucking bitching about this. 6 hours. I need a fucking break, dude. Okay. I think that's all I have to say on this fucking shit. Yeah, the bald guy or the bald guy was pissing me off. The girl pissed me off too. The girl was like, the girl was like fucking, she said, dude, my Survivor rank's not good right now because I don't play Survivor. I'm like 17, but like. The thing that pissed me off of what the girl said, she was like, we learned with the Freddy nerfs not to make changes so fast. Because remember when they released Freddy and nerfed him within a week? They're like, we learned from our mistakes, so we're not going to change the new Ruin. Like, fuck you! That was such a manipulative thing to say. I hated that. I absolutely hated that. Because that was such a manipulative thing to say. Yeah, and then I love when she was like, she actually used the word take Ruin, but then she smiled and actually said change it. You know that there's strict rules about what they're allowed to say on those live streams. Because she accidentally said take Ruin, and then she actually changed her wording. Even though taking it's what they did take it. But it's like, so she said take Ruin, and then she had to like laugh and change what she said. Because if you knew that Cotier and Dave Richards were gonna fucking kick her ass if she fucking said take Ruin or instead of change it. Because the fact is, the perk sucks. The perk fucking sucks, and that's how it is, bro. The perk is terrible. All right. Let's see here, bro. Oh, do you know what else pisses me off? Yeah, you know what else pisses me off? Okay, I was talking about this. Here's another change I suggested. This is becoming a more conversational type of video now, so I'm going to start repeating points from earlier. Like, one of the first things I said is I'm not against survivors in the red ranks sitting in queue for 40 minutes. The way that matchmaking is right now, I said it should be based off your color. You should only play people in your color. Absolutely only. Yeah. It's really isn't it? It's necessary. It's not good. But the issue right now is that fucking Ruin. Okay, you should only play people in your color. I'm getting off topic here. If you play people in your color, the red rank survivors will be sitting in queue for like 45 fucking minutes, and it's like they'll go, well, why are we sitting in queue for 45 minutes? And then it's like, oh, because there's like 85 of you, and then there's like For every 85 of you, there's like 10 red rank killers. Yeah, you should only play people in your color. And then the red rank, it's like, well, why are there? And then you have to ask the question, well, why are there 85 survivors in red rank for every 3 killers that are there? For every, like, generous, for every like 10 killers that are there. Oh, it's because survivor is ranking up is easier and killers ranking up is harder. Well, why is that? Because the game's not balanced. There you go. Devotion could, you're right, devotion could be used, because like devotion's like how much time you're playing the game. How much experience you overhop. Devotion would certainly be a better usage for matchmaking than we have it right now. Okay, fuck it. Alright, let's play a little bit, bro. Okay, so the new ruin is trash, so what do we have here? Looking at this combo, dude. Okay. I'm going to take enduring off and then put monitor back on, because monitor's better on doctor now. Okay. And I'm looking at my fucking build. I don't really have anything better for slowing down the gens on doctor than ruin, so I'm going to leave ruin on. I don't like it, but we're gonna leave. I'm also gonna keep Noed in because Noed's just viable now. Well, it's not that Noed is officially a necessity at this point. I guarantee you I'm gonna play a bunch of red ranks. Already? Doc's bad. He's still bad. They didn't fix any of his problems. He's still a bad killer. He's still bad. I'm sure they do think he's OP. Okay. Okay, I've played Doctor on Switch. On Switch, I like Switch a lot better for playing Dead by Daylight. I think if you want to play Killer, the best experience for you is the Switch. And I'll tell you why. Because there's less, there's Switch, there's no option to invite somebody to a party and have voice communication with them, so there's less SWF commerce. I mean, there's still SWF. You'll still probably see the usage rate of SWF be about the same. Nobody's using that. I'll accept your friend request, bro. I'm in the game right now. I'm in the zone. But like, okay. I thought we were already friends, by the way. I thought we were friends. Yeah, on Switch it's the best because there's less people with headphones communicating to each other. Again, there's still some. It's easy to tell when you're playing some because some people use Discord rather than the in-game communication, but there's less in-game communication going on the Switch. The best and most balanced experience for a killer is the Nintendo Switch version of this game. Absolutely. If you're gonna play Survivor, you should probably play on anything but the Switch. But for a killer, the best and most because it's balanced. It's balanced. Can I get? Oh, I don't know if you're talking to me or not. I don't know if you're talking to me or not, TR. But like, it's the best experience solely because of the fact that there's less SWF commerce. SWF, you still see SWF a lot, but you don't see people that are actually talking to each other. Less synergy. It's the synergy that kills this game. When they're actually communicating to each other, that's when it becomes really unbalanced. Okay. I didn't actually think I was gonna play, but we'll actually I'll play. Campbell's Chapel. Alright. So again, the new ruin is doing nothing to slow down generator time. So basically, my goal is to down somebody before fucking 2 gens pop. Okay, so let's see here. Let's see what we actually have to work with. Let's go over here and use a static blast. Static blast is definitely his like opening play. Okay, let's see what we got here. Nobody. Oh, just barely though, just barely. Here we go. Okay, so the new ruin is now actually doing something. Now we'll go up to the David. He gets that. We'll let that go for right now, just because they're not near it. We gotta hit somebody, dude. We can start breaking these pallets when we actually hit somebody. Okay, we first blood. She's gonna get that. There goes the new ruin. Really OP perk, bro, by the way. Okay, so we got it. We got somebody before a gen popped. That's nice. Do I have a basement hook? No, I don't think so. Maybe I do, but I'm not gonna test it. We need to actually hook somebody. Late game perk, by the way. Yeah, late game perk. What a joke. What a fucking joke that is. Okay. Here we go. I like... Somebody on a gen over here? Yeah. Also, wouldn't it be nice if, like, the ruin at least kept the generator fucking regressed after it got cleansed? I don't know where this guy went. He went over here. Like, wouldn't that be fucking nice? Okay, got rid of that pallet. I should have equipped surveillance. It's so good. It's such a broken combination. Who thinks that's good other than survivors? The fact is that that's a tracking combination. Why can't I hit this guy? That's a tracking combination, so it's bad. Oh, this guy's killing me, bro. No, that's a safe vault. Okay, let's go back over here. I don't like that guy, bro. I just need to slow down there. I was going too fast. Okay. Maybe try this again. Where is he, bro? DB tracking in this game is worthless. That's why it's not actually good. There we go. Tracking in this tracking does nothing to stall a generator or get somebody down. Tracking's only good at baby ranks. Like, you know, it's not like that guy was safe there. There's nothing I could do there. 2 gens. Late game setups though, bro. Okay, I finally have him. Oh, or not. Or shot therapy's not that good for this. Is this just mind gameable? It probably is, dude. Yeah, I just have to break this. 2. You see, there's nothing you can really do here. This is just what happens. Doctor's so good now, by the way. Remember, I've only gotten 1 down this entire game. 2. 2 with 2 gens left. Two downs with 2 gens left. And like he didn't really run anything. He ran like one place right. That one pallet over there. That's the only thing he like ran correctly. Okay, I heard him drop. Now I have to play like an ass, remember that, if I want to win this. Okay, so I downed him. Did she even come this way? No, she went back over this way. 1 gen left. One gen left, he's already up. Slugging's broken too, by the way. Hi. Okay. Gotta find both of them. Okay, so 2 people in tier 3. It's a little late for that, bruh. Very much late for that. This isn't fun. I'm not having any fun right now. I'm having fun talking to you guys about how dumb this actually is. Okay. Like, how broken is that loop, by the way? He gets a free jungle gym because if he has that pallet. This pallet, it can be used in combination with that jungle gym, and the killer just can't straight up do anything about it. Yep, I can't actually challenge that at all. There's nothing a killer can do about that. If that pallet's up, there's nothing. They're up there. I'm sure that's almost done too, because remember, 44 seconds on 2 survivors are on a gym. I'm like, okay, it's not almost done. Like, what do you do there, dude? Okay, got it down again. Where the fuck did he go? Okay. So it's like, yeah, at the late game, I'm finally doing something. 3rd down. He still has his pallet, so this is still unchallengeable. He gets that vault for free. Then he gets to go back that way, free. I can just shock him. He's back at that pallet already. Do you see how dumb this is, bruh? He has dead hard too. No doubt in my mind he has dead hard. That's a free... Look how dumb that is. Look how dumb that is, dude. Like, that's free. I can't challenge that at all. 0. I have no counterplay to that place. That's balanced landing, I think. No? Yeah, you're like that guy's not good for being able to run that location. That takes no skill. There's nothing the killer can do about that. There's nothing the killer has about that location. Nothing. Nothing. Maybe Freddy. Maybe, I guess. Maybe. Spirit, nurse. Like, literally, that's it. So my doctor's still bad. He got eaten by that location before, and he gets eaten by that location now. Nothing. Okay, there's 2 of them here now. Okay, finally we got rid of that pallet. Only because there were 2 of them there, though. We need to get the Jake to actually kill somebody. And then I'm gonna get him, and then guess what? The gates are gonna be powered. Okay, I actually got him kind of fast, so maybe I'll have time. Yeah. Okay, so there goes that idea. Yeah, get good, bruh. That wasn't hard. I had no counterplay to that situation. Okay, so... that window vault's still free. It's still a free vault. He just at least can't go to this pallet anymore. Like, this isn't broken at all. He still gets that window. He still gets it. Oh, wait, that gate's open. Yeah, so nothing you can do about that. It was just by the gate, so we don't have to run that location anymore. See? Nothing you can do there, dude. Absolutely nothing. And now I go back down to green. Now I go back down to green. Nothing, literally nothing you can do about that location. Nothing. Oh, yep. Then by the way, there you go at the ranks again. The 2 red ranks and 2 rank 5, so they're basically red rank. And again, if I was playing 4 purples, they probably wouldn't have been able to abuse those that hard. No counterplay to that situation, nothing. But yeah, I'm just bad, right? Yeah. I'm just bad. Remember, it's me and I'm bad. I would have lost. Like that. There's nothing you can do about that location. The window and that pallet are just too strong, and there's a generator right next to it. Like fuck off. The safer a location is, the further away it should be from a gen. Everything near a generator should be super unsafe. Everything. But see, now we're back at the green breaks. Maybe I'll actually play people on my fucking level now, dude. But it's like I'm angry. I'm back at the green breaks. Like, I shouldn't fucking be here, dude. Yeah, I'll give the new doc another chance. Cause like again, there's no slowdown, dude. There's no slowdown. You have 0 slowdown at all. The new ruin doesn't do jack shit, and it still got cleansed in 2 seconds. Sloppy's not good enough. I didn't even get to use Noed. So it's like, what the fuck do you do, bruh? This isn't fun for anybody. This isn't fun. Why would I be having fun right now playing this? There's no fun to be had playing this. 0. This isn't fun. Wait, and like, I didn't have the tools to win that. I'll say that again. I didn't have the tools to win that game. There was nothing I could have done to win that game. There's nothing I could have done to counterplay that loop. Nothing. It's just he gassed that loop. So that sucks. And it's right by a gen, and you have 1 left because your early game pressure didn't exist. Like, it's a joke, dude. It's actually a joke. And like, again, if I had a huge slowdown of combination, if I have a huge slowdown build, the slowdown builds, they're going to be nerfing. What does a slowdown build do there? What is a build of, like, Dying Light? I got, like, what? I got, like, what? 4 downs that game? And, no, 5. I got 5 downs that game, and 2 of them were on the Obsession. So, Dying Light doesn't do shit. Thanatophobia wouldn't have stacked very well. Like, there was no slowdown there. They cater to newbies, and it's ridiculous. They cater to new players, and new players. I complain about this in my stream, extensively complain about this in my stream. Which, I'm going to go ahead and probably end this stream after that, because I'm start up a new one, because I do want that, I do want that online ASAP. So this will probably be my last one, just streaming this. But again, no counterplay to that loop. No counterplay to that loop. Awful. It was awful. That game was horrible. The maps well, that map's actually not too bad. That's one of the easier maps in the game, and that loop was on it. But again, like, what do you do about that? He still got to vault he still got to vault every single time. Like, I'm trying to list this out in an objective way. Like, there's nothing you could have done about that vault. No one could have done anything about that vault except leave, but you couldn't leave because there was a generator by it that he had like halfway done. You can't do anything. Yep. Like, I don't feel bad for losing because there's nothing you could have done. Mount Ormond, another shitty map for killer. Killers are awful here too. And again, that map we just played at, that was one of the better maps for killer. The really stupid locations are here. Okay. Nothing. I still think the proper way to use Static Blast is to go to your Hex Totem and then use it. The center of the map probably isn't the best spot to use that. Okay. Okay, I found her. I found her, so let's see how she uses all this junk that she gets. Still got the pallet, no counterplay, have to break it. She's headed right back to the center. Might as well just leave her if you're going there. Again, Ruin's not slowing down the generator right now, let's remember that. Because they're on it, it's not doing anything. So that popped really fucking fast. 2 of them were on it, remember, so that we're looking at a 44-second generator per time that just happened right there. So early pallet drop, shock therapy is useless there. She played bad. Remember, it's up to them to throw the game. It has nothing to do with you. She just played bad, so she got downed. Nothing to do with the doctor being good, nothing. She made a horrible mistake at the pallet. There's somebody in there. There's somebody over here. Yeah, they get to choose. How is a Hex perk, does Devour Hope give you a choice on if you can cleanse it or not? Oh, I have a Static Blast. Oh, nobody, okay. But again, Ruin's not doing anything right now, remember. If they're on a generator, the perk is doing nothing. And again, the devs don't want you to camp, that's not something they want you to do, so we leave. And as soon as you leave, the save happens. This gen is almost done. Okay, so now it's regressing. Sprint burst there. Okay, I got her there. Drop the pallet early, that's how you counter shock therapy. Just drop the pallet, he wasted his time if he did that. Okay, we got another down. So what's that, second down? Okay, this game's going a little better. Okay, so Ruin's actually doing something. Ruin is now finally actually doing something. See which way he went. Sprint, was that sprint burst? I actually don't know. Okay, so we're finally actually getting hits here, because these guys aren't as good. Need another shock super fast. Did they drop? I actually don't know where he went. Get this hit. Because, okay, now Ruin gets to do something. Now that I actually pushed the guy off of it, now the perk's doing something. Okay, I actually hit a good shock there. But it didn't matter. Okay, it did matter. It did matter. Okay. Or was that the guy just getting off the hook? Okay, so now we're actually doing pretty decent. But again, it's because they're making mistakes. It's not because I'm MLG and good, it's because they're fucking up. They're throwing the game. Okay, we have a Static Blast now. Nobody. I should have saved it because I knew where the... Maybe I can be cheeky and intercept the rescue? No? Okay. Nobody's on it. Ruin's actually doing something. I bet they're just leaving it up. I bet they're leaving the damn perk up on purpose. Just to see if they can. Oh yeah, well I mean I don't have to imagine, I just did and I lost. I just did play against decent survivors and you lose when you do that. Like that was a free hit. Early pallet drop. No. What tier is she at now too? I think she could have, I think she had time to drop that pallet if she really wanted to. I think I get this. No, I don't get that. Okay, so again, we're going fast enough now because these people I bet are purple rank. Because I hit green rank, so now I get to play purple rank, so I think that's how that works at this point. Now I get to get people within my actual color. Okay, 2 people. She has sprint burst. Okay, let's get the Jane, because if we get the Jane, she's dead. No. Okay, it's like, you see how obvious that was? Like, when I'm playing against, okay, when I play against people that I think are actually as good as me, like, in terms of, like, what I think is fair, they get fucked. She's gonna head towards Shaq. Ruin is a perk. Yeah, exactly. I think that's how, like, half the slowdown perks in this game are. Also, where did she fucking go? Where did she fucking go? Okay, yeah. If you're already winning, you're winning more. But just how half the slowdown perks, like Dying Light is a perk like that too. If you already win, it just helps you win more. So it's like you weren't needing it. They're leaving it up. Okay. So how are we doing now? I need a static blast. So somebody's dead, so I'm definitely not gonna D-pip this game. Okay. Whatever, dude. Whatever on that one. Okay, she's not on like on a gen or anything. I want to find where the gens are being pressured at. There's the pressure. What's up, biatch? I think I won that transaction. I don't need shock therapy there. I just get this. Drop it? No? Okay. She's gonna vault that. I just have to go in this way. There's nothing she could have done there. Yeah, they probably are doing that, bro. That's possible. I haven't actually hooked her yet. Okay, let's try to save the static blast before like over here. Okay. Maybe someone's over here. Nobody. Okay. Yeah? Okay, kitten, you missed me ranting, bruh. I went psycho earlier. Okay, there's Ruin. You're so good, bruh. You're so good. You're so good. We can keep sabotaging the hook, bruh. You're so good at this game. You know how this game is played. Absolutely. She gets that. Yay. I was gonna end the stream and start up another one. So I can have this one start processing and shit, because like it takes a while. The stream can only upload 2 hours at the beginning. It has a hard time of processing things. Okay. Is there somebody there? Okay. But okay, in terms of the new Doctor though, like I honestly think he's okay. I think he's a bit better, but I think he's still bad. Man. I stream on Twitch. I mean, I was thinking about it. I decided that maybe if I got a big enough following on YouTube, I'd move to Twitch. But, like, not yet. So. Not yet. So. Okay, let's keep the multiple pressure going, because there's 2 of them over here. Okay, the plan here is we're going to get the one who's, like, weaker. We need to get the first... We need to take a swing and get the first one that we can. Okay, so we slugged her. She still might have decisive strike, so... Prevent her from dropping that pallet. Okay. Okay. Just burning the shack. Let's just burn the pallet. Okay. Let's leave her go. The plan, yeah, my plan for Twitch is if I get a big enough following here, then maybe. Because like my following is like not the greatest right now. Well, I mean, not that I care. I'm not doing this for views or anything. I'm just doing this for fun. But like, if that's something I get, if I get like if I get an audience, then maybe it's something I'll consider doing. But oh, they're both here. They're both here. Nice. Just drop it. I gotta... You're gonna be disappointed, bruh. You're outflanked. They're... Okay. You're tier 3, so we'll leave you down. I mean, she can keep running shack all she wants, but there's no pallet here. Okay, nice. Good job. Like, she's decent. She's decent. My goal is a Merciless here so I can get my color back and have a safety on it. So I want to get the 4K. Okay, I'll stop screwing around with her. I'm trying to use shock therapy, and that's what's killing me. So let me just, like, run this location, and I'll eventually get her. Because she has no defenses here. That's a super, like, under... Okay, GG. Ooh, class. You in, like, college, my friend? Okay, so I don't know if I get the 2-pip, but I'm definitely going back to purple. Good shit. Where is she? Okay. Good shit, friend. I just graduated. I jumped right to the master's program though, which is a lot of people don't normally do that. I think I can handle it though. Okay. Static blast. Okay. GG. Again, they threw it though. They threw it. It was completely on them. Oh, Ruin, you're so good. You helped me so much. You helped New Ruin. You helped. I won because of you. You carried me. Yeah. So I'm trying to like be a teacher and shit. Well, maybe not like be a teacher, but like a college thing. I'm trying to write books the rest of my life. We'll see how that goes out for me, or see how that works out for me. So that the teacher thing is just kind of something like I want to do if my books don't like catch on. No, you have no control. You have control over your anger, and that's about it. Okay, so hopefully I got the 2-pip there. I don't think I did. English. Okay, I don't think I got the 2-pip, but we'll see. I would teach English because I like writing and shit. 2-pip? Hell yeah, dude! So I made up for my last game where I couldn't actually win, and then I got a game back on it. Fuck yeah, good job, Doc. Oh wow, no, I was still playing purples and reds. Even though I was green, technically green, I was still playing against purples and reds. That's fucking awful, dude. Once again, the game's screwing you. Thanks, love. You do your best when you have nothing to work with. Okay, I'll tell you what we're gonna do. I've been going on this one for 3.5 hours. I want this stream because this is the one where I bitch about the live stream that happened for a majority of it. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna switch over to a different one to get a fresh stream. So I will BRB. In other words, I'll be back in literally like a second. I'm just going to close this one down and start up a new one.